Welcome everybody to today's stream. Welcome. So today we're gonna play a little bit of Lunar New Year, I guess. It's back, so let's check out some dailies. Nothing too crazy here. Of course, I always go for the achievement that is once a day. So the daily achievement that gives you in the end some weapon skins if you complete it multiple times. There are multiple ways to complete it, as always, for every single festival. And I always try to pick, of course, the fastest ones because, as the title suggests already, it's not the most favorite festival of mine. I would also say probably even my least favorite festival. It's not that exciting. It doesn't have that cool, I would say, things to do. And there is only one big thing that you can do. It's either the Dragon Ball Arena or the Celestial Challenge, and that's it. And the Celestial Challenge gets boring really fast because it's the same event over and over. So yeah, that's just my take on it. I don't know. Let me know your take on it, but it's just my personal opinion to not enjoy that festival that highly. Okay, there we go. Just light some crackers and get it done. First part done. What else do we have? What can be in the boxes here? Let's check. Okay, I have every single skin of them, so they're not that worth it. Of course, you can sell them, so it's actually worth to do that. So I guess let's do some Celestial Challenge. Or maybe also some... No, let's do the Celestial Challenge. It's not that crazy. First time it's okay. Welcome, Bane. Welcome to the stream. Hope you had a nice day so far. Do you enjoy the festival? Because to be honest, I think it's okay, especially if you're a new player. It's not that bad. But I think if you're a veteran and played this festival before, it's actually not that exciting. It's a festival, so yes, it's repeated content that we already have last year and the year before that. And then, in my opinion, this festival is just two things, either the Celestial Challenge here or the PvP arena. And both of them I find get boring rather fast. So I'm not the biggest fan of this festival. But I mean, I don't have to grind it the whole day, so that's good. Yeah, I had a nice day. Was quite productive. So this festival is somewhat interesting. It's, I think, related or to the Chinese idea of the new year. And we're just having Guild Wars an event where you can get some, it's, I would say, also Chinese or Asian based from the design. And we just have to, I don't know, just use your luck, for example, get some rewards that you wouldn't get otherwise. But it's not like Winter's Day where everything is snowy. It's just this area in Divinity's Reach. That's the only area that is really affected by that. And I can show you some stuff that you can do. For example, this, what I'm currently doing, is one of the events. It's called Celestial Challenge, where you have to do some, animal inspired, or not even animal, even the dragon is here, challenges like this one. We just jump around, collect some modes. And this, we completed for, I don't know, maybe 5 more times, maybe 6 more times or something like that. And then when we completed that, in the end, we will just get some rewards for that. And I think it's really fun if you do it the first time, because there are so many cool things. For example, this thing hits really hard. It's just an interesting new event that you can do. But as soon as you did it once or twice, it repeats itself. So there's nothing new there. And that, in my opinion, leads to a little bit of a boring loop if you really go for all the achievements that are related to this. So that's what I would say about this But I will get to all of the possibilities of what you can do in this stream. So if you stick around, I will explain everything here. Because it's the first day, and as with every festival, the first day is the most exciting one for me because it has been a year since it came out, so makes sense to try it out again. But after that, yeah, it gets quite repetitive, at least for veteran. But you get some rewards here that you won't get any other way. So it's really, if you're a skin hunter or if you just like to get achievement points and stuff, this is definitely worth doing for sure. And if you're a new player, you will also get some gold. For example, these boxes that I got here, 3 of them, I can sell them. And you can see they are worth 40 silver each. So I get some, now just by doing this, I got 1 gold. It's nice, yeah. So I will get to that a little bit later in the stream. I will show it to you. But when it comes to farming, this event is a little bit weird. So this event, you can buy, or let's say you can invest a little bit of gold. And the investment is not really a real investment like in the real world. You just, I think you can buy once a day, you can buy envelopes, lucky envelopes for gold. Yeah, they have a special set price, and if you buy them each day, you can either open them and they are affected by magic find, and they will drop just raw liquid gold back. And depending on the amount of magic find that you have, they will drop more or less gold back. Yeah, and the interesting thing here is most of the people that do this can do that for the whole festival, so the next 3 weeks. You buy every single day. I think you can buy 5 envelopes, and they cost a little bit of gold. And at the end of the festival, you either open all of them with the highest amount of magic find you can get, and you will make profit, just baseline, or you can sell them. Yeah, and if you sell them, you don't have to get the magic find. You are not for RNG or something. You will definitely make profit just by investing some gold and selling them off. But I think this is one of the most boring ways to make gold. Just buying something from a vendor and then selling it. That's in my opinion really, really boring. So yes, there is a way to make gold in this festival, but it's not like you can farm something or you have some cool activity to do. No, you just go to a vendor, click F, and then you buy some stuff, and that's it for the day. So that's why I don't really like the festival. I mean, this is not my event. That's a Guild Wars 2 related event. And people, the developers of Guild Wars 2 just thought it would be a cool event to have some Chinese New Year event in the game. So that's why it's there. It's not like I came up with the idea here. So, and they have every 1, 2, maybe 3 months, they have come up with this kind of events in the game. So like Winter's Day, like Halloween, there are some big events. And yeah, now at the beginning of February, it's always Chinese New Year or the Lunar New Year in the game. Yeah, I think it's a boring event. I totally agree with Ben there. I think it's the worst festival. I think it doesn't provide that much, and I would say it's better than having no festival, at least in my opinion, but it's definitely the worst. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think no one would say that this festival is bad in that sense, because everyone will get more gold out of it than if the festival wouldn't be there. So that's definitely the case, yeah. I mean, they always add some kind of skins, but they did not add anything fancy or new event or something. So you will always do the same stuff that I currently do. How is it called? Celestial Challenge here. Or the Dragon Ball Arena or the Firecracker event. You will do the same stuff that you did last year, just for maybe a different mini or different weapon skin. So that's about it. And the sad part is you also get a weekly achievement here. Where is it? Somewhere here is the weekly achievement. And this weekly achievement, for me to grind, is actually quite annoying, because I want to get all the skins that are in here. Yeah, and I don't have them. But I have to grind a lot for this. And you don't have a lot of possibilities to get those weekly points that you get. For example, in the Halloween, you can get with the race course, you can do labyrinth farm and all that kind of stuff. And here you only have 3 options or so, and all of them are quite repetitive. So I don't really, I'm not really fond of this event, to be honest. Yeah. And of course, I also want to go for a few account points that are quite easily to gain achievement points. So yeah, thanks for the follow, Hockey Sutan. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you all had a nice day so far. I will show how to make a little bit more gold, because for example, if you open a lot of unidentified gear and salvage it, you will be like me and have some luck lying around, and this festival is the luck festival. And that means you can turn in your luck and make some profit out of it. So if you already have full magic find, so you have 300 from luck and you can't get any more than that, then you can turn in your luck to get some gold. And I'm really talking about a minuscule amount of gold per luck. But if you have a lot of luck saved up over the years, or maybe over the year from since last time this event happened, you can get some gold back if you don't need the luck. So there are some ways to make gold with this event, but all of them are boring. Let me tell you this. Yeah, I try to make some helpful and interesting, hopefully entertaining videos. So glad you like them. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think, for example, the Christmas or Winter's Day event is way better when it comes to rewards. You can farm the jumping puzzle or the bell choir to get some Winter's Day gifts and just have some stuff that is different than the whole year to farm some gold. Or in Halloween, of course, Labyrinth Farm is crazy good. But this event is not even good to farm gold. You just log in, buy the envelopes, and that's it. You can't really speed up and get more gold out of that. Yeah, so I'm playing Mesmer. Mesmer is a really good class right now. And when it comes to sustained builds, especially for PvE, I have a really good build guide about a solo build guide, Virtuoso, that is it's really strong. But if you are more like a Mirage fan, you can also play Mirage. There are a lot of solo builds that are really strong. Be sure to check that out on my YouTube channel. It's in my Twitch description, the link, and you can just look for the Virtuoso build. But if you want, I can also link it to you. Give me a second. And that's definitely a really good build when it comes to soloing open world or really challenging bosses. Yeah. So that's the build. Hope that helps. Yeah. Yeah, Mesmer is definitely a class that is a little bit more squishy in general than typical Dragon Hunter. I mean, if you make legendaries, I would say, of course, go for all the loot and gold that you can get. But in the end, to be honest, this event is not the best way to farm gold. I would say don't be baited into doing this event just because it's a temporary event. I think it's really important to say, okay, I do the stuff that I enjoy. I want to get a skin out of this event or something. But farming gold in this event is way worse than farming gold in another way. For example, doing Drizzlewood Coast or doing one of my top 10 gold farms that I mentioned in the video. You know, if you want to get a lot of gold, this event is not it. It's just you log in, you go to this vendor. I can show it here. And this one here, you just see here, okay, I can buy 8 more of this Divine Lucky envelopes. They cost me each 1 gold. They are affected by Magic Find. I can buy 8 of those per account per day. So if you have more accounts, you can buy more of those. But if you only have 1 account, then this is you can only get 8 per day. And then you buy them, just like I now do, and invest 8 gold. That's it. And then you can either sell them on the TP. You bought them for 1 gold. You can now sell them for 10 gold. So I will now get roughly 2 gold and 50 silver profit because I bought them for 8 gold. So just by selling them, I made 2 gold 50. Yeah, 2.5 gold. But if I want to open them myself, I can open them. Just want to go maximum magic find. You can do that by getting to silver waste and that kind of stuff and getting all the boosters. And then you open it. And this is really important that you do that with the maximum magic find, because the loot that it drops is mostly, and that's the important part, just some random crap. but it drops also those trophies that are worth a lot of liquid gold. So you just sell the chunk that comes out of here, and this will in the end give you more gold, way more gold than what you bought it with. So if you like to have some way to increase the gold of that, you should save them up and go to Silver West and get maximum magic find and then open it there. Or if you're lazy like me, you just sell it on the TP and you make some profit for not spending a minute or something. Yeah. And like I said, some stuff is new. For example, you have, for example, this back piece is new. Every single year there is a new back piece and some new weapon skins, but that's about it, or mini. So it's not really crazy when it comes to new stuff that can come out of this event. The second way, you can also get those things for the token of the Celestial Champion. Those tokens you can farm by doing what I just did, the Celestial Challenge, and you get some of those tokens. You can double click 8 of them to get one of those tokens, and I can buy one more of the lucky envelope. Yeah, okay, I get a little bit more gold out of doing that, but it's not worth it in my opinion, because you get, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 gold out of one Celestial Challenge. It takes at least 5 minutes, maybe even 10, and that's not a good gold per hour, and it's quite boring in my opinion. And of course you get also some token of the Dragon Ball Champion if you play a lot of those arena. I can show it to you a bit. It's an event that you can also do. It's the PvP event of, not this one, sorry. It's a PvP event that you can also do. It's quite fun. I played it a lot when I was new to the game, but at some point it gets boring and not that crazy interesting anymore. It's just the same old. So I can show it to you a little bit. It's called the Dragon Ball Arena. And yeah, you just have a base attack that is just a throwing thing here. Yes, for sure, you can play the same Virtuoso build with Greatsword than with Spear. It works decently okay. It's definitely a little bit worse just because the Spear is broken, but it's definitely playable for sure. So with this event, you play against the other players. You just have to kill them. That's the only thing that you want to do. And you can gather power-ups that lie on the ground, like this one. Okay, I didn't get it. And if you collect them, you will get a new key, new attack. And depending on what power-up you collect, you get, for example, this bubble here that reflects balls, or you get, like this one, an AoE attack, or larger range skill. So it's an interesting event for sure, or PvP thing. Welcome, Hannonfire. Welcome. Hope you had a nice day. But it's not like, I don't know, you wouldn't play that 24/7, I guess. Maybe if you really enjoy it, but I grinded the hell out of that in the beginning of when the game came out, and that's it. So now I get a chill skill that I can get and kill this guy and get some points. My team is about to win. That's good. So it's a fun thing to do, but like I said, this is not a lot to do, and it will not be the replacement to your normal farming method or something. It's just a fun event that you can do. This is now the AoE skill that I was talking about. I have definitely to get a little bit of healing, because then I will die. Nice. I mean, sad to hear that your day was not that great, but happy to hear that you're here now and you're happy about my stream. So now I got a buff to deal more damage. That's really important that I use that, of course. I deal a lot of damage now with this, so I hope I can get some kills here. See, one-shotted one guy with 2-second skill here. So this is just if you enjoy PvP or want to have a little bit of a different take on PvP, this is actually quite fun. But it gets boring rather fast. Especially if your team is losing, you get farmed all the time. Because if every time you die, all your skills reset, and that's doing it. That's all of it. Yeah. No, I wanted just to showcase this arena. It's not like I really enjoyed it that much. I just wanted to showcase it because we had some new people in the chat, and I wanted to show everything a thing that this event has to offer. And I have to be honest, this festival doesn't have to offer that much. So. Yeah. Exactly. It's fun at the beginning, but that's about it. You will fast get to a point where it's not that fun anymore, and then it's very repetitive. I have to heal. Please let me some. Give me some heal. No, I'm dead. Okay. There is some new backpack that you can get, and I think you can now get a little bit more of the weapon skins that you can get from the weekly achievement. But I think one mini and that's it. I think there is not that much. There's one stealth thing that you can get here in the middle. It's really broken, of course, because you can attack people from range without them seeing you, but okay, we got another kill. So nothing too crazy new, and especially nothing new other than rewards. So it's just the same old, same old. I just want to showcase the event a bit, and then I will do some back to my normal stuff that I normally do. Okay, we're almost done. Just as a normal PvP match, 500 points, and we have win the match. So one more kill and it's over. There we go. That's it. So do you do the event if you're a veteran and did it already, or are you just in for the skins and some gold farming? Because then it's probably not that much. Just go to the vendor and that's it. Then of course you can also do a race. Nothing too crazy or fancy about it either. Just running around again like typical in Divinity's Reach. Just like the Winter's Day one, a little bit different. So let's talk about the balance patch when Galen brings it up. So there will be nerfs to Tempest, you're correct there. However, it's not a direct nerf to Tempest, it's a nerf to the weapon. Yeah. So I think Tempest will definitely be playable after the patch. In that sense, it will just have a lower benchmark in PvE. When it comes to Catalyst, I think Catalyst is, the Spear Catalyst is getting a buff and a nerf at the same time. So the Spear Catalyst build currently benches at 47k, yeah, which is extremely high. However, it is extremely unreliable. You have to position perfectly and you have to not cancel any skills. It's really hard because it's just really annoying. There are some bugs with the etchings. It's really, really bad. So they will nerf the damage of those spear skills, but they will buff how to get those etchings going. So in the end, I think Spear Catalyst will probably be better than now, just have a lower benchmark. So I think a lot of people will swap from Fresh Air Tempest to Spear Catalyst. That's my prediction. And then I think Viva didn't get any changes. And I'm talking about 0 changes to Viva. Nothing. Yeah. No game mode received anything from Viva. I'm really sad about that. But that's just how they balance it. And I think Viva will still be a good damage pick, but it doesn't have anything special and it doesn't have that much sustain. So I think Viva will still be somewhat bad. Not bad in terms of damage, just bad in the spot that you will normally take. So my prediction is that Viva will still be outclassed by Tempest and Catalyst. That's just my take. I might be totally wrong there, but as I said, there are no changes to Viva at all. So I think this is definitely not going to change that much. So Spear will definitely be the new meta on Ranger. So when it comes to PvE, or at least for a Power Ranger build, you know, Power Rangers, they will drop the weapon that is currently I think they will be probably going with Hammer and Spear, that will, or maybe Axe and Spear, depends a bit, but they will drop one weapon for Spear, very likely, or at least it is possible to do so, just because they buff the damage numbers on the Spear so much that it will definitely be a worthwhile pick on a Power Ranger. So probably on a Power Soul Beast only, because all the other two builds are, yeah, okay, you could play it on an Untamed, that might be true, Untamed will also be meta, but definitely not on a Druid. Yeah. So I think Ranger is the big winner of this patch when it comes to PvE, because the weapon will get buffed. Ranger in general is in a decent spot, and now with the better weapon, I think Ranger will be in a really, really good spot. That's my take on the situation. Okay, what else do we have to do for this festival? Stop it. Welcome, Filthy Casual, welcome. Yeah, I think I was not only sad to see that there was only no change of the Viva spec, but I was also surprised, because that was one of my things that I had on my mind that is for sure going to happen, that they will buff Viva to some extent. Yeah. And they did not. So I'm really, really surprised that they did not do anything about it. I think the Chance der Walds expansion is probably one of the most important expansions if you want to go for a PvE really high meta damage build. So if you really enjoy to be a DPS build that is best in slot to some extent, then spears are really good. So I would say Chance der Walds is a really good expansion to get just in terms of damage that you want to do. If you're more of a support player, I think it's not that important. And you can definitely play the game without the expansion. But I totally agree. I think Chance der Walds is a very worthwhile investment. You have some nice content, some nice maps, and you get access to spears, which are really cool weapon on most classes. So that's just my take. Yeah. Yeah, I think it has nice synergies. Don't get me wrong. I think the spear is a cool weapon on Ranger, but I think it's a power weapon for the most part. And I think it doesn't make sense in PvE to run a power druid. I think that's just really weird. I think that's not going to happen. I think it's just not worthwhile. I agree. You could make that work in competitive maybe, but in PvE, I think druid is just very, very focused on healing, on a full support build, or going for a Condi build, and then spear is not that crazy good. I think the Condi Circa buffs are nice. I'm not sure if people will really say, oh, I will drop my, for example, Condi Firebrand to go for Condi Circa. But I guess it's definitely a good build for warrior mains. So I think Condi Circa is definitely a nice thing that they changed, and I'm a Berserker enjoyer, so I think I'm quite happy about the change. I'm not sure if it's really changing too much. I think it's just a little bit of a DPS increase, but that's it. Yeah, I mean, the Spectre changes were really great, and I hope they will do something like that for Viva. Just give it a complete rework to some extent. I think the Spectre changes are really good, for PvE at least, because Spectre was in a weird spot. It was just, it had some nice support, but it was worse when it comes to AoE support, of course, and I think that's just how the game plays currently. You have to have AoE as a support. If you don't have that, it's just you are not worth it most of the time. So that's my take on it. Okay, let me read the question. Random question about World vs. World. What's the best build if you enjoy staying on the enemy? I know Guild Wars 2 PvP is all about dodging, kiting, LOS, terrain, etc. But I really enjoy being aggressive and hope there's a build that kind of counteracts my bad habit of being overly aggressive. So the thing is, in Guild Wars 2, I think going for a build that counteracts your decision to be overly aggressive is, in my opinion, actually not the way to go. I think you should go for a build that is doing really well because you are so aggressive. So you get rewarded for being really, really aggressive, and then you deal more damage because of your build. If you have a build that doesn't die because you're aggressive, I think that would be broken. That being said, I think Willbender is probably the best build that you currently have for that reason. It will get nerfed in PvP and World vs. World, but I think in PvP it's still a really good build after the nerfs. When it comes to the other game modes, for example World vs. World, I think Willbender for roaming will not be that crazy good. But I'm not done yet in Heavenfire. I have another build that is really good for that. Two actually. So if you enjoy having some challenge, because it's a difficult build, you could go for Mirage. A power Mirage is extremely strong. It has, if you go aggressive on the build, you are really annoying because you have so many CCs, you have so many, just aggressive tools, AoE skills with your spear and stuff. So if you like to learn something new, this is a really, really good build. And the last one that might come to a surprise, I will upload a video this week later, and it's Warrior. And I think Warrior with Spear is actually really good right now. It's really underrated. So if you're a Warrior fan, this could be actually a good build for you. Because it's actually somewhat ranged, but still very aggressive, because the Warrior Spear is a little bit ranged. So it can actually deal with Willbenders, because it's ranged and does a lot of damage, and Willbenders exactly don't like in this kind of setup. So I think this is a really, really good option right now if you want to play aggressive, to go for a Warrior with Spear. Yeah. So those 3 options I would recommend to you. Yeah. But you have to wait a bit. I will release the build guide, I think, at least in 2 or 3 days. Yeah. Welcome everybody to the stream. I hope you had a nice day so far. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying myself here in the festival, already doing it the 2nd time because it's so great. No, I'm joking, of course. It's not that exciting. Yeah, I think Warrior is in a weird spot, Wolf. I think Warrior is in competitive modes actually quite decent. It has some nice build variety there. In PvE, however, I think it's just Berserker is just very, very good. Yeah. And if you don't want to play this, if you don't enjoy it anymore, or it's too annoying to do with the Berserk mode, then I can understand why you would swap to a different class or just stop playing it. However, there were some changes rather recently to a really interesting, it's a really interesting design decision when it comes to PvE Warrior. That is that you just permanently stay in this thing, in the Berserk form. You can easily upkeep 100%. And therefore, if you dropped it a while ago, so let's say 1 or 2 years before, and now you might want to go back just because it's possible to completely stay in the Berserk form all the time, and that leads to maybe the gameplay that you more enjoy. I don't know, just saying. Yeah, so you're with me, Filthy. It's also my least favorite festival. And I think it's actually by a long shot, just because it's not that exciting. The most exciting thing here is going to the vendor and getting some more gold by investing 8 gold, getting 10 gold or 12 gold back. But I guess that's just how it goes. They can't make every single festival really nice. Yeah, I mean, the skins, I'd have to be honest, I don't really collect the skins because of the looks. I collect them because I know I want to collect all skins. So I'm just a collector. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Warrior lacks a lot of utility when it comes to all builds, actually. Which is quite sad, because I think Warrior could have, especially banners and that kind of stuff, could have been really interesting if they designed it in a way that makes sense in PvE. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe they will have some nice rework, especially, for example, Bladezorn is in a really weird spot. They did not change that much from Bladezorn, but I don't know. I think Warrior is in PvE. I'm not sure how they could make it more interesting. Yeah, it's just like me having fire. I just get this stuff that is not possible to get any other way. So going for the dailies and weeklies and that kind of stuff, and collecting the backpack and that's it. Yeah. Power Mirage will be really fun in roaming after the buffs. I think Mirage actually after the changes will be really, really good in every single game mode. There will be actually a Power Mirage that will be playable in PvE. Not playable, but will be really good, benching around 43k or something. So it will be a really good option. And PvP will probably be the meta build Willbender will not be meta anymore. It will be, or not that good anymore. It will be Power Mirage, and in roaming, you're right. It will receive the same buffs, but no nerfs. So it will definitely be a really good pick there. It still is a rather difficult build to play when it comes to understanding it, and you get punished really hard for not dodging hard-hitting attacks because you're really squishy. But it's definitely a really good one. For somewhat veterans that have multiple classes to play, that the balance patch changes stuff so that, for example, we as Mesmer enjoyers now can play Mesmer in World vs. World as well, and our Tempest might not be the best anymore. Yeah, so it depends, and I think that makes a lot of sense to enjoy balance patches because they change up the gameplay that you normally have. Yeah, so we did this here. Nice, collect the chests, get some loot. Don't forget to collect most of them until you run out of the keys here. And then you go back to Winner's Reach. Yeah, there are so many more things that you can do than this, for sure. So we have a question here. It's not a stupid question, it's an interesting question of YouTube, of a YouTube viewer. What happens if you attack World vs. World spawn point? So World vs. World attack the spawn point, you can push somewhat close to that, but the enemies there will become determined, so they will be invulnerable. So it will be a quite unfair fight because they are invulnerable to your attacks and you still get damaged. Yeah. So in the end, you will probably die. So you can push to the spawn, you can't push in the spawn without exploits at least, and that's it. So that's the answer to your point, to your question. I think you will just die because the enemies are invulnerable. Okay, so now I can buy more of those tokens because I have 4 of those, and I can actually get more of those. So you can get some more of those tokens that you can then trade for the Divine Lucky envelopes, but it's also limited to 8 per day. So I will get now 6 more because I have 6 more of those tokens. So in the end, I end up with 15 of those. Quite nice. So it cost me not even 15 gold, and if I sell them now, I will get almost 20 gold back. So I made 5 gold profit. Yeah, not that crazy good, to be honest, for the amount of time that I spent. Yeah, no problem. Always ask questions. I'm happy to answer. Let's see if we can get some new skins, or we need the luck for those skins. That's a little bit sad. I have all of them, I hope. Yeah, I have this one, this one, this one. Let me... there's the mini. So those legendary essences of luck you can only get from the festival, which is quite sad. So to get those, it's quite expensive actually, holy shit. To get those, you have to do the weekly achievement. You get 8 of those per week, so you can buy the mini here, and then, which is new, and the new backpack, and that's it. In terms of gold, it's worth going to this vendor here and talking to this guy, and there are 3 options here every single day. Currently I only have 2 because I already did one. Just buy them for 1 gold, the Divine Lucky envelopes. 8 times you can do that per day, so you will do this for the next 3 weeks and get 8 of them, and then you can either open them with a lot of magic find to get some gold back, or you can just sell them and get almost the same amount of gold back. The important thing here is if you open them, please be sure to have really high magic find, otherwise you will not get those really expensive drops that you can then sell to the vendor. This is the only thing that is worth doing when it comes to gold in this event. That's it, really, that's it. Every time, every day, go to this vendor, buy these things 8 times, or as much gold as you can spare, and then either open them at the end with maximum magic find, all of them, and sell the loot or the trash that comes out, or just sell them directly on the TP. I would say just sell them on the TP because the change from selling them or opening them is minuscule, and it's a little bit more effort to just get the maximum magic find and stuff. So I hope that answers your question. So it's a little bit interesting. So I would say if you don't have maximum magic find, so 300 from luck, I would not go there and open it, just because you will not make profit. Yeah. The minimum amount is hard to find. There's probably some kind of data spreadsheet that you could do when there's the break-even point. So I personally always open my kind of stuff that is affected by magic find at 800 plus with all the buffs. But I think you don't have to go that high. So I think 500, 600 should be fine. The best way to get this is by going to Silver Wastes, yeah, and completing the event, and already having in the inventory of the character that you do this event with, the boosters. All the boosters that you can get, also the food that you need, and maximum magic find. Because this event will give you 150, I think, 150 magic find. And in the end, with all the boosts and maybe even the enrichment that you can put into your gear, you will get really high numbers, even if you don't have 300 magic find baseline. So you can of course put here the magic find enrichment instead of the karma one and use all the boosts. For example, the magic find boost, birthday boost, and also honors for this lucky drake tail fireworks here. So there are a lot of ways to boost the magic find. There is a nice link in the wiki or spreadsheet in the wiki where you can see what you should get to get the maximum magic find. I hope that answers your question. So I think we are done for today with this festival. We could do some more firecrackers. Or we can just do some strike missions. Oh, no problem. I mean, I will also release a quick guide about this and in the future, in a few days or maybe tomorrow, I don't know, when I come to it, about all of this festival. But that's it. So I explained in 5 minutes just by myself on what this event is all about. Quickly, let me... I'm not sure, is it only lagging for me, Guild Wars 2 today? Because I feel like today it's after the patch it's actually quite laggy. Yeah, so that's the festival and nothing more to say here. Interesting. This is new. Well, wild. Explanation. Okay. I guess fine. Really? They changed the special tab? Oh yeah, true. That's interesting. I think that means, pretty sure that it means that we get the next patch, the next real big update, like the, how is it called? Just the last patch that came and gave us the convergences, the God Spawn update. I think that means that will be the next patch will be later. That is pretty sure that it means that. So it's not 25th of February, it's more like 14 days after that. So sometime in March. That's crazy. So they pushed it actually 2 weeks back. It's pretty sure that this will happen. Yeah. Which is sad. I really expected to have some nice gameplay update with new content. Maybe it's really a new project. I mean, it's crazy. I have the feeling that since release of Chante Wilds, they have put a lot of content in, on hold, or put it even slower out than usual. There was not a lot of stuff going and happening in the last few months, actually. I'm not sure what they are doing, and hopefully they will announce what they are doing so that we at least have some information on that. Because currently, I have to be honest, I feel like I play the game because I enjoy it, but it feels not like developers really do a lot. Yeah. I don't know. Could be really some kind of Guild Wars 3 maybe, or maybe it's just the next expansion that is really big. I don't know. Is unidentified gear going up? I'm not sure. Is it? I don't know. I don't think so. Why should it go up? What is the reasoning, Max? I'm not completely sure why it would go up. Yeah, I mean, it could be true that they are slowly abandoning Guild Wars 2 and are going into a maintenance mode and maybe developing a different project. Could be, yeah. I mean, that makes sense to some extent to go for to go for a new type of product. So let's see if they will definitely do a Guild Wars 3. We don't know. Because of the essence of luck. I doubt it. I have to be honest. It's not worth it at all to now buy pieces of gear and open them and then salvage them to get the luck. That's if you didn't do that the whole year, then you will never get enough of those or not even get close to it. So in my opinion, it's definitely not something that should affect the economy. Yeah, of course, there might be some people that do this, but to be honest, that's just such a minuscule fraction of the game, of the player base. I doubt it. I actually doubt it will not affect it. Because players like me, I have actually stacks of those. I think I have almost a full character of essences of luck just lying around. So if I wanted to do this right now, I had to, I don't know, 24/7 for the next few days to just salvage enough to do this. Will not happen, I think. Have you played Guild Wars 1 or do you nowadays? I have to be honest, I actually did not play Guild Wars 1. I'm too young for that. When it came out, I was still, I don't know, really young and I did not play any PC games then. And for me nowadays, I think it's a really good game. But in my opinion, just from the combat and the, I don't know, just the modernness of the game, I think Guild Wars 2 is just superior for me right now. So I have not considered playing Guild Wars 1 just because of that reason. I think it's a nice game, but it's not something that I would invest a lot of time in just because it's not that modern to me anymore. Yeah, I get why people would play it, Guild Wars 1, but to me Guild Wars 2 is just a superior game in most, at least in most things that are important to me. That's my take. Hopefully no one is offended by that because it's just my opinion. And yeah. No, I would not go back to real life. Never. I mean, my life is in the internet, producing content for you and just having fun in Guild Wars right now. Yeah, I think a lot of people actually have a problem because we have some people leaving the squad because they say it's too laggy. It's actually crazy. Yeah, I think a lot of people actually jumped on the PoE 2 hype train. I have to be honest, I think it's a really good game, especially if you enjoy build crafting, but I also think it's not completely finished. It's you can see it's in development. It's in early access, of course. So I don't say it's a bad game or anything. I just say I currently enjoy Guild Wars 2 too much to go for a game that is not as completely gone through the development process. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I look older than I am. Typical question here on stream, how old I am, and people always say I'm way too old. Some people say I'm over 60. So, yeah. So, yeah. I think I might try PoE 2. I already tried it, but I have to be honest, I think I really like to have something a little bit... I'm a person, I'm not really happy if I progress towards something and then it gets taken from me. So if there's a reset of the league mechanic and that stuff, I lose all my progress if I don't play standard. And I think for me, I always like to work towards a goal. And if this goal is then deleted or just made unnecessary, I don't really enjoy that. So that's why I'm not really the biggest PoE enjoyer or ARPGs in general, just because they often do this kind of mechanic. And I really enjoy to grind towards something and then going for the next thing and always having the backup of already having the other thing. Yeah. Yeah, there will be resets in PoE too. Yes, for sure. Currently in the early access, there is no reset. Yes, that's true. But as soon as there will be leaks, there will be resets. You can be sure of that. Yes, definitely. So, when it comes to if I played other MMOs, I played Warframe a lot. I played Final Fantasy, but I did not invest nearly as much time in all the other MMOs that I played than in Guild Wars. So the question now is, if I ever would change to other MMO, for example, like Filthy Casual said here, that Guild Wars 2 might go into maintenance mode and they will not develop more content, it might happen that I don't enjoy the game as much anymore just because there's nothing happening anymore, no balance patches, no updates. Currently it's not the case, but it might happen. And when that happens, I might definitely go for a different MMO for sure. And the reason for that is, yeah, I don't know. I have to be honest, I will swap to a different game if I don't enjoy Guild Wars 2 anymore. And if you guys enjoy watching me playing different games and just, yeah, making content about it. Because currently I really enjoy making content for Guild Wars 2. And I would enjoy making content for different games, but it of course only makes sense if you, as the viewers, also have the same feeling. Because if I make content for different games and no one cares, not a single person watches this anymore, then I wouldn't enjoy it. So one question here from Max from YouTube. The return of investment of the lucky red bags is, I have it somewhere, but you can also check the trading post, how is it called? Discord, the overflow trading post Discord. There they have all the data. But so you make profit with going to the Quaggon to change the luck. And you make, I think, a little bit less profit with the red lucky bags, but you make profit. And the sad part is it costs you a lot of time to make profit with them. So I think the faster way to get more for your time is going to the Quaggon and just exchanging the luck there, the exotic luck. But if you really say, okay, I don't know, I want to get the most for my time and the most for my money or for my luck, then the red bags can be another alternative option for sure. So that's the long answer, but like I said, if you want a data spreadsheet, you should go to the overflow trading post Discord. So would you like to go for WoW if that's the case? So if it's really the case that Guild Wars 2 will, for example, if they announce this year, might happen, we are currently developing Guild Wars 3 and it will come out in 5 years. Then I might really have to consider going for WoW or some other MMO, just because I really like to have content available to me to make guides or just interact with a living community and not making content for a game that everyone says, I don't play Guild Wars 2 anymore because it's dead, no one plays it anymore. So I wouldn't make content for Guild Wars if it's dying. Yeah. So the short answer is I would consider it. Currently, I'm not really interested in it because I have to be honest, I did not play WoW. So I am a little bit afraid if I would start WoW that I will not only be just overwhelmed by the amount of content, amount of stuff they have in the game, but I would also lose all my viewers that are interested in what I do because they come to me to get content for Guild Wars 2, to get content from me where I explain stuff and just show them about the game, yeah. And I would lose all of that when I go to WoW just because I don't know anything about the game, or not a lot at least. And it would be more like a journey from noob to maybe tryhard or something, yeah. So I'm not sure if a lot of people actually would enjoy that. And there are a lot of other content creators out there that play WoW and are way better at it. So I would not make guides for probably weeks or months about it. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's the smartest thing right now to do, but I totally would do it if Guild Wars 2 would really go down the hill in the next months or year, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I hope not, Filthy Casual. I hope not. But yeah, I totally would consider it for sure, because I think it's. I started doing content creation on YouTube, on Twitch, almost exactly 6 months ago. Yeah, and I put a lot of effort into my channel, and I think currently I enjoy making content on YouTube, on Twitch, even more than playing Guild Wars 2. So if I would lose Guild Wars 2, I would probably search for a different thing that is... Why are we doing... Okay, I don't know. So that would be something that I would like to have, some kind of other content that I could create content about. So other game like WoW or something. That would make sense. But I would fear to lose my audience, yeah? Because not a lot of people, just like Galen points out, actually enjoy WoW that also enjoy Guild Wars. Yeah, I think if you have people that enjoy WoW, most of them or some of them would also enjoy Guild Wars. But if you have people that are really into Guild Wars, most of them actually would say, no, I don't want to play a game like WoW just because Guild Wars is different. Yeah, it's different than a typical MMO. It's very unique in its space. So I'm not sure if I would really want to restart my whole content creation journey just to play a game that is alive. Probably I would do it, but only if at least some amount of my, I don't know, my community would come with me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think this is actually a smart thing to if you have enough of an audience to switch to another game that you enjoy and be more like a multi-game streamer. I think this makes a lot of sense. But the thing is, I'm way too small to do this. You know, if you look at my viewer numbers, even on YouTube, where I'm currently not that bad when it comes to Guild Wars 2 content creation. I think some people, I'm one of the most active YouTube content creators for Guild Wars 2. Yeah, but I don't get a lot of views there. I hope that will increase in the future for sure. I try my best. But if I would swap the game, especially on Twitch, or if I would swap the game on YouTube as well, I think I would lose 90% of my viewer base. Just because most of them are only interested in Guild Wars 2 right now. So I can't afford that. Yeah, Tyler 1, people did not watch Tyler 1 most of the time because he was so crazy good at League of Legends. They watched him because he was an entertaining person to watch. And this is true, doesn't matter which game he plays. And if you are interested in me playing a different game, I can do that, for example, on stream and try it out. But in the end, it also depends on how many other people would have the same opinion. Yeah. So that's just my take. Yeah. And I hope you can understand that. And if you're really all interested, yeah, we can do that for sure. But I think if I asked it on YouTube, a lot of people would say, no, I would not watch you. Why would I do that? Because they're all only in for the Guild Wars 2 content. Yeah. Yeah, I would also be interested in playing different MMOs. I think every single MMO has its advantages and disadvantages. I think Guild Wars 2 is far from perfect, but a lot of other MMOs are the same. So in my opinion, it does not really matter which MMO I pick. I think there will always be something that I don't like about it. So I would not say I definitely don't play WoW. I wouldn't play ESO or something. I just would play the thing that comes to mind and people would enjoy watching me. Yeah, exactly. And people like the content, yeah, definitely. So Tyler 1 is a very famous person for a reason, yeah. Thanks for the follow, Elisha. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I mean, I'm not sure if you wanted to see a cooking stream from me, because I'm quite good at cooking builds, yeah, theory crafting and coming up with some really spicy stuff. But when it comes to real life stuff, I'm not sure if I would be the right person to watch a cooking stream with. It would be more like, oh no, he is burning the house down again. And it would be quite entertaining for the people on stream, yes, but it wouldn't be that entertaining for me anymore if I had to focus on how to getting the smoke out of my microwave or the smoke out of my pot. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely an idea to go for a second channel like a WoW channel or something like that. That could make sense. But the same argument would apply. Would people watch me as a new content creator on my second channel? I would be a new guy. And I don't have any clue about the game. So I would record my journey about how to get good in Guild or in WoW. Would people really like that? Or have 100 other people already done this kind of journey? So this would be my argument of if that's really worth it. So like I said, currently I'm really invested in Guild Wars 2. If that changes, I will definitely swap to a different game. But right now, it's not the case. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think going for a game that is populated with a lot of people, has a high population, is definitely smart choice. Yeah. So you would go for a game that is highly viewed on Twitch just to make it easier to get into the game. But of course, you also have to enjoy the game. So if I would go for the, I don't know, what is currently the highest amount of people watching a game in Guild Wars, not Guild Wars 2, on Twitch, yeah? If I don't enjoy the game, I would stream it for a few days and then I would say, I don't really care, I don't want to invest that much time, and I would quit. So I have to find a balance, of course. But I totally get it. If I want to play, for example, WoW, because I think it's a good game, then I think I would get fewer viewers after some time. But I think the question would be, would they really be sticking around because I'm a noob, because I'm someone that doesn't really know what they are doing? Yeah. Yeah, probably League is quite high. There are a lot of those PvP games out there. Also some, I don't know, CSGO, maybe Fortnite, those kind of games. Yeah, sure. But that's not my cup of tea, I would say. I'm more like, I enjoy playing different, a little bit more, I don't know, strategic games, not too on the first-person shooter only. I think this is my type of cup, a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice thing. That's ideal. If you really watch me because you enjoy my listening to my voice and just listening to what I do, this is perfect. Of course, if I had more people like you, Filthy Casual, then in the end, that would be ideal. Yeah. Then I would play different games and always play the games that I enjoy. But currently, after 6 months of content creation, I'm still not there. What does mean still? People normally do stuff like this after years of creating content. I mean, when did Tyler One swap from LoL? After, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 years of creating LoL content? So yeah, there's still quite a lot of time to do this. Yeah. Yeah, I think Guild Wars 2 is really unique in the Guild Wars in the combat system, because it is really not classical MMO combat. Yeah, if you watch people play World of Warcraft, if they play Final Fantasy, those kind of games, they are typically somewhat not slow-paced, but a little bit less action-oriented. Yeah, and I think this is a interesting thing in Guild Wars 2 that I really enjoy. So I would probably enjoy more stuff like fighting games, maybe some kind of not tap-targeted MMOs, more action combat-related stuff like maybe Elder Scrolls, or maybe, I don't know, maybe even Black Desert. But Black Desert is, I would say, not the type of game that I really enjoy, just because of the pay-to-win element. I mean, maybe I should play Kirby, yeah, or something like that. Maybe Stardew Valley is the game I should play, yeah. It's just or Animal Crossing, just having some really chill and relaxed stuff and just talk about everything except the game, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of MMOs currently are not doing that hot. I think that's just the younger generation that is coming after us. We are currently getting older and older, and I think the younger generations, the Zoomers out there, they are not interested in MMOs anymore. They want to have some fast-paced stuff like mobile games, like Fortnite. And that's why MMOs are just dying after years of being out. So that's just my take. No, I don't have the character name girlfriend. I think the girlfriend character name is by Grimcheck. Grimcheck has this, I think. I'm pretty sure he has it. Yeah. So I don't have it. Sorry. It's a good name. It's a really good name, actually. Also, thanks for the follow, Ree. Really appreciate it. Okay, some more strike missions here. Yeah, I heard a lot of different mixed opinions about Elder Scrolls. I have to be honest. Some people say it's amazing, you should try it, and some people say, yeah, it's a good game, but nowadays it's not that good anymore because it has some really bad elements in it, and it's also it's just getting old. I think, to be honest, it was never on my really high-end list, just because if I would swap to a new game and I wanted to make content about, one thing that I always have to take into account is, of course, if it's staying alive for a long time. Yeah? Because if I start playing a new game and want to make content about, I don't want to swap to another game after half a year or a year. Yeah? I want to stick to it as long as I want to, or as long as I can, and not swap after a few months again. Yeah? And that's why I think Elder Scrolls would probably not the choice that I would do. I think currently I would either swap to Warframe, because I think Warframe is quite an interesting game and it will definitely stick a long time, or World of Warcraft. Yeah, that's my take. I don't know anything about hard mode trials and how they compare to raids. Sorry, I can't tell you anything about that. I think it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but I think it's not a game that I would consider to make content about. Yeah. That's just my take. I might change that if you can bring some nice arguments, or if you can show me that it's definitely worth it. But in my opinion, I think it might not definitely be the way to go. Yeah, I think it's always really cool if you have, oh no, yeah. If you have a game that gives you rewards, unique rewards, really cool skins and that kind of stuff for content that you play. I think Guild Wars 2 is a little bit lackluster in that department. So yes, you can get, for example, Dragon Void Infusion and that kind of stuff in really hardcore content, but that's about it. So if you like, for example, it would be really cool if you have some kind of way, for example, I don't know. Yeah, I know I'm a little bit coping, but why, for example, can't you get some kind of meteor shower skin, yeah, so that the meteors that come down will get icy or something if you beat a really cool boss, yeah. This would be so cool. People would really go for that. They would really grind that kind of stuff, and they would have a lot of prestige behind of. If you see someone that casts the icy meteor shower, they would say, holy shit, this is amazing, he beat this boss, really cool. They, of course, could go the other way around as well and say, oh, let's put that kind of stuff in the gem store. Yeah, I think that there's always this argument as well. But yeah. Yes, I played Final Fantasy as well. I think Final Fantasy is a good option as well. I think WoW and Final Fantasy both are really good option. I would not know which one I would pick. I have to be honest. I have to do my research first and maybe try out both of them. Maybe do a comparison, like something like starting Final Fantasy and WoW and trying to get good at them at the same time. Might be a really hard challenge, but maybe people are interested in that kind of stuff, how it compares in that. I don't know. I think both of them are totally fine. I don't have a preference there. Okay, that's interesting. I think I have to be honest, it's always, for me, it was always a little bit hard to get into the community of that kind of stuff. So you had to have some kind of static, getting in the static and keeping the static together to get that kind of stuff. Because I think pugging hardcore stuff like not getting any deaths, doing some time trials, I think that's really hard if you do that with random people. You have to stick together as a group. And sometimes this gets really, really annoying. So If I find the right people, I would do that, yes, but currently I don't have them. I did that in the past, but we somewhat stopped after years, and now I just play the game solo, and I quite enjoy it, to be honest. Yeah, I think that I would definitely do that, Bernish. I would definitely go for something like that. Maybe not only one video, but I would do a really long-lasting series where I play, for example, Final Fantasy, I don't know, maybe 2 days or 3 days a week on stream, and then I play 2 or 3 days on stream in the same week World of Warcraft, and just swap consistently and just compare every single time I play them. How does it feel? How is my progress? And would just do a continuous game play, maybe some nice editing, but just having some footage of both of them while I get better at them. I think that would be interesting, but the question is it worth my effort? Because oftentimes people are not enjoying just people being bad at a game. People want to have people that are knowledgeable, people that can tell them something, that explain stuff to them. So I'm not sure if a lot of people would really watch that. If that would be the case, it would be an interesting way to have to test out both games for sure. And I would probably enjoy it because I really like to go really try hard into something. That doesn't mean I want to be a really elitist or something delusional hardcore player. No, I just like to be getting better at something. Yeah, I want to know how it works. I want to know how to play something, how to improve at something. I would really go deep into that. Yeah. So that would be definitely interesting, but I'm not sure if that's the current, I don't know, the best decision that I currently could do for my content or YouTube channel. Really? So that's crazy. If you don't have a guild, then you don't get into your content. That seems really sad. Because how can you learn then? That's actually sad. I really like to have people that help me to get good. Yeah, I don't know. So, Asian Scorpio, welcome to the stream. So, the question here is, what would I recommend you to get from the gem store? And it's such a funny question because I currently am producing a video just about this topic. I can give you the short summary, but if you check out my YouTube channel, I will upload a video this week about exactly this topic. Yeah. So in the gem store, there are so many items, and most of them, and really I have to be honest, most of them you can classify in 2 categories. Yeah. And only a small fraction of them you can classify in the 3rd category. So the first category, of course, it's in a gem store, is just cosmetics, like skins, like weapon skins, like outfits, this kind of stuff. I can only say this is, yes, if you like it, buy it, but I would say it's not giving you anything that improves your gameplay. Yeah. Other than that, there are a lot of scam items in there, and I really mean scam items that are definitely not worth getting. Yeah. I will show you that in a second when we are done with this boss. So what items am I talking about? So I'm talking about most of the things that are, why is it not loading? It's really laggy today. So I'm talking about, for example, transmutation charges or level 80 boost, that kind of stuff that is so expensive in the gem store. Don't go for that. What kind of items would I recommend on the other hand? Definitely Copper Fat, definitely Candy Corn Gobbler, definitely Snowflake Gobbler. Shared inventory slots are really good. And I would really recommend to go for more character slots. Those are the really, really good things that you can get in there. So if you want a more detailed answer, please let me know what you wanted to know. What kind of item are you looking for? Or let's say if you're only playing a one class or one character right now, then it's a little bit different. But if you play a lot of classes, shared inventory slots are really good, character slots, that kind of stuff. But if you can wait a bit, be sure to check out my YouTube channel and subscribe. I will upload a video this week, so be sure to watch that, where I talk in detail And I mean really in detail about every single important item that you should get. So, Zero, the question, what tier would I put the Reaper build that I uploaded just now for open world? So I did the open world tier list and I put it in C tier. And I have to be just it's not that low. Yeah. So I was completely wrong on that, and I'm really sad to say that this was a big error of mine. Yeah. So definitely not C tier. For my taste, the Reaper build that I just put out is at least A tier. I think it would be highest of A tier. Yeah. I would not put it higher than A right now, just because of the really, really broken builds in S tier. But it would be the highest of A tier. That would be my take. Yeah. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I don't want to self-advertise here. It was just really fun that you asked this question here. And I'm really currently in the process of making this video. So it's the best thing that I can just tell you to do this. Yeah. Okay. So Banish, this is my prime topic. Yeah. I'm if you don't know, I have a lot of gold on my account. And my account is almost 1 million worth when it comes to gold account value. So I know what I'm talking about here, so you can trust me. Salvaging in Guild Wars 2 is one of the most important things to do just to clean up your inventory. But there is a big question of how you can do that. Yeah? And one of the most important things is to notice that the copper fet, the silver fet, and the rune crafters, which are those 3 items that you are probably talking about, are endless. And they all cost a few copper, or for the silver fet 60 copper, not a little bit more than a few, to salvage an item. So you should always know which kind of item is worth to salvage at all with this thing. And there is a big rule of thumb that is quite easy to follow. The copper fet is used for salvaging everything that is blue or below. So yeah, just blue unidentified gear that you open and everything that is lower than blue. The rune crafter is used for green gear, only green gear. And the silver fet one is used for rare gear. This is the rule of thumb. Yeah, this is really easy to follow if you have every single. Oh, my GG. Okay. So this is really easy to follow. However, and this is really important, the copper fet is the most efficient when it comes to gold. It only costs 3 copper. There is no salvage thing in the game that is cheaper than that. So it's not only convenient to have an infinite use one, but it's also the cheapest one. Yeah. The other 2, however, are not the cheapest options. That means they are more expensive, but offer infinite convenience because you can infinitely reuse them. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense if you're a veteran like me and you don't care about min-maxing every single copper that you use. Yeah. But if you are beginning the game, I would definitely go for the copper fet, because the copper fet is not only very useful, but is also, and that's the interesting part here, is also very lucrative. It saves you money in the long run. So this is the longer answer. And then I would say the most lucrative form for the silver fet. The silver fet costs more than the Mystic Salvage Kit. The Mystic Salvage Kit gives you 250 uses. So if you really want to min-max the gold value, this would be the way to go. Always go for the Mystic Salvage Kit for rare gear. But I don't want to do that because it's really annoying to always swap around the gear that you get to get 250, and then you have to do with another salvage kit and that kind of stuff. So I always use that. I hope that answers your debate or decides who won. So it's... Yeah. Yeah, I think this is actually a rather decent summary, Heaven Fire. Launch pass, bank materials, base upgrades, maybe character stuff, and TP to friend if you really use it a lot. There are a lot of good items in there, but most of them are a little bit more like subjective value. If you really use it a lot, it makes sense. But most of the time people don't use it that often, so it doesn't make that much sense. So you always have to think about it like that. But yeah, in my opinion, I think this is a really good summary. Yeah, definitely. Exactly. I never will mock the Reapers again, because there were so many comments about the Reapers and people that hated what I said with the C tier. So now I made a video about it and redeemed it a bit. And now it's definitely A tier, and I hope people that enjoy Reaper will now forgive me for that. Yeah. Yeah, I think the recharging teleport to friend one is really good, because that has now a cooldown of, I think, 5 minutes. It's really, really good. Before it had a cooldown of 1 hour, so that was shit. But now it's 5 minutes. It's way better now. So, but like I said, if you want a detailed answer, where I really go over most of the items, I think almost all of them actually, in the gem store, I will release a video about that this week. Yeah. Of course, the answer is always, it depends. Otherwise, it would be a really weird debate or not. But like I said, copper fat, ultimate usefulness. It is the best option. It's the cheapest one. It's infinite usable. Silver fat is just very convenient. It's not the best option when it comes to gold. But if you salvage a lot of rare stuff, which most veterans do at some point to get Ectos, it's still a very good option. And the least good option is the Rune Crafters, just because it's very situational. You only use that on green gear that is not extracted. So if I extract this now, then I get 2 items. I get this item, and it's not on the thing anymore. Then I have to use the copper fat. But if it's together, so if I use this on this thing again and it's up there, then I have to use the Rune Crafter, because the Rune Crafter has a 20% chance of rare materials, which also includes the minor sigil on there. But if I extract it with the infinite upgrade extractor first and then salvage the sigil and the thing separately, then it's the best option for the copper fat. It's really complicated. You can make a lot of gold when you know what to do, but the short answer, copper fat and silver fat are really good. Rune Crafters is situational. Yes, the recharging teleport to friend is so good, especially for lazy players. So if for example, I just go for meta event, yeah? So I open Dragon's End meta event, no. Echo Wild, I don't know. Let's go for some kind of meta event that is currently ongoing. I don't know. Nothing is ongoing. Okay. So I want to go to Auric Basin, but I don't want to teleport there. I can just join this, double click the recharging teleport to friend, and teleport to the map to exactly where the action is going. When there is a world boss, I can exactly teleport there. It's really, really good for lazy people. It's not like it saves you a lot of gold. It will save you some amount of gold, but to be honest, paying 1 silver or 2 to 3 silver for waypoint cost will take you years to pay off with teleporting around with this thing. But it's very convenient. It saves you a lot of time. Yeah, so that's my take on that. Yeah. Yeah, I know something like that happened with the Dark Shrouded figure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I also have that actually. So I can show you. I have that on my other character. But I bought the World Boss thing for the core game, and I bought it for Heart of Thorns, and now they are just laying around here and I don't use them. So here's one and here's the other one, and I just don't use them. So yeah, you can have them, but to be honest, it's not like this item is extremely valuable anymore, because most of the world bosses are not that rewarding anymore. So I talked about the Lunar UU already a bit. So you can just make money by just selling all those, going to the vendor in Divinity's Reach, buying the Lucky Divine envelopes every day, 8 per day, and per account, 8 per day. And you buy this every single day, and you either buy them consistently and open them with a lot of magic find, for example on the silver wastes, and sell all the chunk, and then you make profit. If you don't want to do that, yeah, just annoying thing of opening them with a lot of magic find, you can just sell them on the DP, and you will get almost the same amount of money. That's just how it works, because a lot of people can provide them. Only a few amount of people want to open them, and you will make a little bit more profit if you open them, but you have to do it with a really high amount of magic find, and I'm talking about at least 500, 600, I open them at 800 and then you make profit. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's also nice that you teleport with the teleport to friend in the correct instance if it has multiple instances. So it's a really, really cool item. I think with the reduced recharge now with 5 or 10 minutes, I think it's 5 minutes, it's really good. Before that it was quite annoying, but now it's really, really good. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is, Agent Scorpio, I think if you just play a little bit more of the game, you will understand, for example, that I'm currently in the Eye of the North. From here, I can start some strike missions that are related to the Iceblood Saga. If I want to raid, I would open the raid stuff from the Lion's Arch airdrome, which is here located. But at some point, you will slowly understand where you can open that stuff, and then you don't need the recharging teleport to friend anymore. But of course, before that, it makes sense to teleport around because people will stand there where you will need to stand. So that makes sense. Yeah, so when it comes to the luck, I can show you. It's really easy. I have a character with a little bit of luck prepared, so we can show that. It's not all my luck that I have. I have a lot of luck lying around. But if you have some luck, for example, I have some stacks here. I have a character with way more luck. I can now go to the Divinity's Reach thing and can either turn my luck indirectly into gold via an achievement, which is, I would say, the lazy way, or I don't know. It's a way that is decently fast and doable, but it needs a lot of click. So here, give him an exotic Essence of Luck. This is the option that you take. Yeah, it takes 1, and I repeat, 1 of mine of this, not a stack, just 1. So I have to click this 250 times to get this completely away. But after 8 times I did this, yeah, I will do this now. I did it a little bit more. Then you will get 7 silver back. So you can turn in few amount, or after 4 times you will get this. So you get a few amount of silver back from this. You can see I completed this already 9,000 times. So I got some gold out of that back. Yeah. If you, the important part is here, if you have a lot of luck, you have to every single time press F, except press F, and do this every single time. And after a few times, you will get this achievement, get 8 silver or 7 silver, and you have to repeat it. And that takes forever. I have to be honest, this takes forever. Yeah, but this is the most rewarding thing. Straight up, it gives you the most amount of gold for the luck. If you are a lazy person and don't want to click that all the time, then you can also go, where is it? No, not this guy. You can also go to this guy here and buy the lucky red bag. Yeah. And with this lucky red bag, this is also affected by magic find. So you also have to go for the highest amount of magic find you can get, but you can go for the maximum that you can get. So I have on this character, I have almost 5,000 with the bank. I can now get all of those with one click and get a few of those bags, 4,000 or something. And I can then open them. But, and that's the sad part here, you will get almost a similar amount of money, but you get a lot of chunk. And you have to sell all of that chunk. So you not only get trophies that you can sell at the vendor, but you get also those fireworks, you get some food, and you get some back pieces, and all of that kind of stuff you have to sell. Yeah, and it has to sell to make profit. So I would say this is the method for the people that don't like clicking, but in the end you will make less money. Yeah, in my opinion, or at least it's somewhat even. Yeah, they are really close together, and both of them are quite annoying to get the money out of. This is a little bit faster, but you have a lot of chunk lying around, like the food and stuff that will not sell for ages. Yeah. So both of those options are totally valid, but like you can see, in either case, if I want to turn all my luck, only on this character actually, I have to do quite a lot of clicking. I have another character with a lot of luck. So when it comes to other character with luck, I also have a character with a lot of luck here that I can also transform and get more gold off, but I don't really care. I have enough gold and it's too annoying for me to get. Yeah. So this is the summary. If you want to get gold for your luck, that's what you have to do. If you find it too annoying, that's okay. It's not like you get rich by doing this. Yeah, it's just a way to make your luck useful, because if you have a full magic find with 300 from luck, you can't use luck anymore. So it's just lying around, doesn't bring you anything. So this is the only way to make some profit. Thanks for the follow to X-Tornado. Thanks a lot. Also Agent Scorpio, thanks if I didn't mention it before. So that's my take. I hope that answered your question. Yeah, if you are a player that doesn't have that much luck lying around, then it's okay. But if you have inventories full of that luck, then it gets quite annoying. I hope you can understand my my problem with this. Yeah. Yeah, but if you have any questions, especially as a new player, please let me know. I mean, I only have luck when it comes to the item. I don't have luck when it comes to if I get a really rare drop or something. I get that. I also don't have that much luck. Actually, really, you got into the match with when they asked for Platinum 2. That's funny. Yeah, it means Platinum 2. That's a PvP rank. So Platinum 2 is actually quite high. So Platinum 2 only, 19 people currently are, or something, at least the people that show off here, are in this amount of rank. So it's actually quite funny that you got into this. Yeah, I mean, it's not like you lose something. Yeah, it's just the experience that people are really, really high level gamers there. Yeah, I get that, but I think maybe you learned something. So that's totally okay. Yeah, I think if they were not toxic to you, I guess that's fine. I mean, I always think you will learn way more from people that are better than you than if you play with people that are worse than you. I think this is a really important thing in life in general. If you can find people that know more about the stuff that you want to learn about, then you should stick with them than sticking with people that are less experienced than you. Because if people that are less experienced than you, they will probably not teach you that much. That's my take. Yeah. My take when it comes to Tornado with which fractals you should do, I would say you should get started with fractals as soon as you can if you enjoy them, because even tier 1s will give you decent rewards. Of course, they are not as good as tier 4s, but you will understand more of the mechanics the more you play them, and that helps a lot in the future if you slowly increase your gear to ascended stuff. So this is really, I think, one of the best methods in Guild Wars 2 to get not only ascended gear, but also get decent or very good gold, actually. So in my opinion, if you enjoy PvE content like fractals or just like dungeons and that kind of stuff, then in my opinion, it's definitely a worthwhile thing to do, even at tier 1. If you need help getting into fractals and that kind of stuff, I'm happy to help. If you have any questions, please let me know. But also, I have on my YouTube channel fractal guides for every single fractal, and also, and that's really cool, I have a really detailed video about how the gear acquiring process in fractals works and the agony stuff and that kind of stuff. If you want to push your fractal level to level 100 and stuff, to go for tier 4 fractals, which is not that hard, by the way. If you are committed to the game and you like the game and you like to do PvE content, you will get there, especially if you watch my video. Yeah. So maybe we can get some fights here. So there are 3 things that I have to say when it comes to finding people, finding players that you can either play with or fight against. So the first thing is, it's, at least on my time, the prime time is around currently. So if you play 2 off hours, for example, in the middle of the night, it's harder to find players. Makes sense because there are less players online. When it comes to finding players, you also have to take into account that not every single server has the same amount of players. So sometimes if you are unlucky and get to a server that there are not that many players around, it's getting hard. And the second thing is, or the third thing rather, if you want to get into World vs. World, I can recommend you to join our community guild. If you want an invite, just write me a message and I can invite you. We take everyone, it doesn't matter how much experience you have. And in this community guild, we will also do World vs. World with the next reset, which will happen in a week. So if you want to have some players like me, and we might even go for some small scale stuff or even Cirque play, we would do that. So if you're interested in it, sure. Oh, they are wiping us. So a lot of people actually had the same comment that Heavenfire just had, talking about that the legendary trinkets that I rated really highly in my tier list are for them not that high, because it's really easy to get ascended trinkets nowadays, and that makes it really way more easy, at least, to get multiple characters geared with ascended trinkets, and you don't really need the trinkets. However, for me, it's still annoying if I want to play a new build to always go for all the new trinkets, yeah, or swap them around. I am just a completionist. I like to have everything perfectly set up. I really like to have, I don't want to play Celestial anymore. So I swap to Assassin's Gear just by one click, and I don't have to grind another thing or go for some kind of reset of the Ascended Gear. It's really annoying, yeah? So for me, that's convenience. That's why I put it really high in my tier list. If you rated how easy it is to acquire Ascended stuff and how important in the other way it is, yeah, then yeah, true, it might be less valuable, sure, yeah. So if you don't need that many Ascended trinkets, or if you know how to farm them really fast and you don't mind it to farm them, then yes, definitely you could put them lower. That's definitely a valid take for sure. Yeah, so Tornado, you're actually in the so-called, yeah, fractal, yeah, how is it called? Tier 3 gap, Tier 3 hell. That's the big gap. So it starts getting not quite, but it gets a little bit harder, fractals, as soon as you reach Tier 3. Yeah. However, people are not as experienced as people that are currently playing Tier 4. So that is the reason why a lot of people that are in Tier 3 fractals are quite challenged by it, because they are not the really experienced people there, but their content is still quite close to Tier 4. So to get out of there, I would say just upgrade all your gear as fast as you can to the full agony stuff that you need. Yeah. And when you have that, you can do Tier 4. And as soon as you reach Tier 4, you're in a way better spot, because it might be a little bit harder, but the groups there are way better. Yeah. So being in Tier 3 is the hardest thing. So the best thing to tell you is just get the hell out of there. Yeah. That's the really straightforward way, blunt way of putting it. Yeah. Just saying Tier 3 is really annoying. Don't be in there. Try to get out of there by getting better gear. This is really important. Yeah. So so we have a question on YouTube. Is Daredevil good for fractals? I would say yes. Every single class is good for fractals. Daredevil is just a DPS. You can't support your teammates with it, but it's a good build. So if you know what kind of build you need, it's typically a power build you run there. And fractals power builds are really good. So Daredevil is quite decent. So if you just check out Snowcrow's website, for example, they have a lot of raiding builds. You can just copy that one-to-one and use it in fractals, and you will perform really well. And it's really nice to push It's not a support build, so you won't help your team by healing them, but if you deal a lot of damage, it's sometimes even better than healing them. So, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I would say getting into tier 4, even if you're not the high level from fractals yet, but you have enough agony resistance to do so, is more important than being the corresponding fractal level. So getting into the tier 4, having enough agony resistance is way more important. Believe me, as soon as you get out of tier 3 into tier 4, you will get better groups, you will clear the content, and you will get faster progress. You get more ascent gear, you can level your agony level way faster. So this is really, really important. Yeah, this is such an annoying system. I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that they have, that you have to level your fractal level to even be to open this amount, these fractal scales. This is really, really annoying. This is really bad. So that means you can't see groups that are in tier 4. However, and this is really weird, you can, and this is really important, you can still join people that do this. So if, like, for example, who said it? Someone said it in the Heaven Fire mentioned it. If you have people that help you through the content and, for example, can just take you along, then you can easily get a higher fractal level and join this group. So you don't need to have the fractal level to join a group. You just need the fractal level to see those groups. So if your example asked in map chat, if someone could invite you, maybe if you want, if we find enough people, I can also do some fractals with you today. Just carry you through the fractal. If you would like that, we can do that. So this is really stupid system, just a stupid system in that sense. So if you already have all +9 infusions, you already have enough agony resistance. So the only thing that you need is just enough of the fractal level. So you have to clear a few pieces of content that are higher fractal level than yours, and you will level up and you will get there. So maybe we can do some fractals together then, if you find another person that is interested in helping us in the group. Yeah, that's true. Maybe you can ask in the community guild. I guess we would just do some daily fractals. What is daily currently? Cliffside and Siren's Reef, we could do that. I could be the healer and try to carry you, even if you don't get all the mechanics right. If you have enough experienced people other than you, it's not a big deal. Okay. Yeah, then let me know or join our community guild. I think there are a lot of, or even just the Discord. Just let us know when you want to get some people. I think there's always someone online that can help you there. So we are always quite helpful and friendly, so just let us know. Yeah, I think it's really important in Guild Wars 2 that kind of systems, they are just really bad. But if you have the helpful community around you, just ask them. Oftentimes you will get there. Yeah. Yes, I'm on EU. Yes. The whole guild is actually. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, tomorrow we will do the raiding stream. So we have tomorrow a raid training stream. Sadly, all slots are already taken. So if you're signed up, lucky you, we will get to do this together. If you are not signed up, you can join, of course, the stream and learn about it, how you do raids and stuff. But you can't join this session. We will have more sessions in the future, so don't worry. And of course, just watching me explain it will, of course, help you a lot as well. So if you have time, why not join tomorrow as well? But like Heaven Fire mentioned, we will definitely have time for doing more content like fractal progression or even fractal CMs, if you are interested in that, if we find enough people for that. Yeah. Exactly. I hope this time we will definitely kill Sabetta. I think Sabetta is a really annoying boss to fight with people that are really not experienced, really unexperienced, just because it's a somewhat of a clusterfuck fight. There are so many bombs happening all the time, and it's just really annoying. and people die to the flamethrower all the time. So yeah, that's just but I was really happy about our progress, and I think this time we will get them at her for sure. Exactly, we have to kill her. But as most raid bosses, actually the last boss is the hardest one, so it makes sense that we struggle with this one the most. Yeah. Nice, we defended it. But they're just farming us right now. They are mean. Yeah, but as always, if you have any questions, please let me know. We are always happy to answer here in stream. And I think if you enjoy fractals and if you get across the first hurdle of getting into T4, it's a really, really good way to get not only gold in Guild Wars 2, but also getting more ascended gear and of course having fun while getting also better at the game. Yeah, because I think fractals can give you a lot of experience in how to play the game, in how to get, yeah, how to deal with mechanics, how to dodge and that kind of stuff. I think it's really good. No, it's not my playstyle to go full kamikaze here. There are so many, it wouldn't help anyway. And this build is sadly getting quite hard nerfed actually with the next balance patch. I'm so sad. My relic is getting nerfed, and they nerf, what did they nerf as well? I think they nerfed some of this trait is getting nerfed. It's just sad they nerfed my staff build. So sad. Yeah, it was good while it lasts, so I can still play it right now. They nerfed it a while ago because I was running actually not this trait, but I was running this trait. And I think it was a few months ago, and it was giving alacrity to my allies as well. So that's really, really good. But they nerfed it, and now it's only might, so this is just, yeah, I don't know. Just sad getting your build nerfed all the time, but I guess I'm playing the good build, so it makes sense that they nerf it. Okay, they got the tower this time. I think that's a very noble statement, on very humble take. If you just sacrifice yourself just because it's lost, everything is lost, and you give the enemy small loot bags. I always feel like I try to survive because I am just a chicken. I always want to run away when there's danger. But it's a very humble thing to do, to swap and say, okay, if I have to teleport, I can also die and give my enemies some more loot. Yes, double dagger in PvP is getting a nerf, and it's a very significant one. So it's not only Tempest, it's just dagger in general. So Tempest, I can show you. Currently there are 2 builds with dagger on Elementalist in PvP that are really, really good. Yeah, so we have the dagger Catalyst build, that is a really good side noting build. And we have the dagger Tempest build, which is also a really good side noting build. It's even better for less experienced players because it's very tanky or very sustainy. You have a lot of dodges that you can spam, and it's just really annoying to fight, and it also can support the allies. However, this build gets nerfed, yeah, especially dagger. So dagger here, Frost Aura, Cleansing Wave, Frozen Burst, and this gets a cooldown increase. This makes this build a little bit less tanky, of course, because you have the cooldowns less often, but it's still playable after the nerfs. Yeah. So I would say this build is still playable. However, the Catalyst build I was talking about, the dagger one, is probably not valid as a somewhat competitive pick anymore. The reason for that is dagger gets nerfed. Yes, your sustain gets nerfed. This is sad, but they will also nerf this trait, and this trait is the reason why you could play this build. You have so many just fields up all the time because you can spam your Jade Sphere without a cooldown, because your energy will even regenerate when you have a sphere out. That would not be the case if you have don't have the trait. And that means this build is getting significantly worse just because of the decrease in boon duration that you get with this. With the next balance patch, this will get just less boons, and therefore this trait is getting worse, and the dagger catalyst build is getting worse. So the best option would be a hammer build with stone showers, because that gets a buff. So that is my take on the thing. Yeah. And like Filthy Casual points out, there are a lot of different buffs, things getting buffed. So for example, the Gunflame Warrior will get buffed. I think this might be a really good build if you enjoy some really high, hard-hitting attacks on a warrior. I think this can be a really fun build to play in ranked. Just one-shotting people from 1200 range can be really fun. And it gets buffed. So yeah, definitely a valid tick. If you are Elementalist main Galen, if you play PvP, Hammer Catalyst will be the best side-noting build. It's already a really good build, and after the changes, it's the best build. Just straight up for side-noting. So I already have a build guide about it on YouTube. It's extremely strong. You have so much burst potential. I played it on stream as well. It has so much burst damage. If you get outnumbered and you're in a 1-on-1, let's say, and you fight, for example, I don't know, against a warrior, yeah, and the 1-on-1 takes a while, and then the enemy team outnumbers you. So you have a willbender from the enemy team that comes into the fight and wants to kill you. Oftentimes with this hammer build, you actually can kill them, even though you're outnumbered. So you're 1v2, you can kill them because they are going aggressive, and you have so much AoE, so much damage passively, that you can kill them, which is really fun. I think that's one of the most fun things to do if you're in a ranked match. You just enjoy yourself in a 1-on-1 and slowly winning, I don't know. And then someone outnumbers you from the enemy team, and you actually turn it around because they don't expect you to have so much damage. So I think this build is really fun if you just try it. Yeah, that's my take. But enough of that. Let me hydrate for a sec. Yeah, I think the balance patch is interesting. I mentioned it in my video about the balance patch, and I can mention it a lot of times actually. It's really important that they make changes that affect the meta. I get that. I don't want to have minuscule changes that don't change anything. However, I think some of the changes, especially to the dagger nerfs, I'm quite sad about, because those builds just came up. Yeah, people played it the last few months. Yeah, but for example, Willbender was good the last years. Yeah, and they now nerfed the spear, but it's still a very decent build. So this is the sad part to me, because they changed stuff that is just very recently become really good, and they did not really nerf stuff that was already really good a long time ago. And another thing is, for example, they did not buff Holosmith a lot. I think Holosmith has been dead for years in PvP. And I also think that's the biggest disappointment. Weaver. I think Weaver did not get buffed at all. And that's the sad part. I think Weaver was bad for years now in all game modes. And I really hope they will increase the something of Weaver. So on the hammer build in PvP, you run Berserker Amulet or Marauder Amulet. Those two are the only options that you should choose. In World vs. World, you would run Marauder. I think that's the only option that you have there, because you have quite a decent amount of uptime of protection, which leads to somewhat decent damage reduction baseline. And Elementalist not only is light armor class and therefore has less toughness, but it's also having a low amount of baseline health. So increasing your vitality with Marauder stats is definitely a really worthwhile pick. So Marauder would be the way to go in World vs. World, for sure. Of course, if you want to play a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more defensive, less bursty, you could also go for Celestial. Celestial is totally fine on Hammer. It's a very decent thing to do as well. Let's see if I can kill this Holosmith. Probably. Okay. No crits. Oh, no. Really annoying fight. He's blinding me all the time. He can't kill me. Please die. This was a good dodge, otherwise he would have been dead, but now he's dead anyway. Finally. So, can you tell me an easy build for Fractals? At the moment I'm playing Power Soul Beast, was thinking about Celestial Herald or Mech, but don't know if it's good in Fractals. So, Power Soul Beast is a really strong pick in Fractals. But of course that means you have to be at least a little bit of a high level gamer. Yeah. If you are just starting out, I think Power Soul Beast is a little bit of a. It's not hard, but it's not that easy. Yeah. So Celestial Herald, maybe, I don't know. Getting into Fractals, I would say you could just play the class that you enjoy. So if you, for example, a Ranger main, Power Soul Beast is probably the best option for Fractals. But if you want to play a different class, for example, if you want to play Engineer or if you want to play Revenant, then let me think. Renegade is a good option for Fractals. I'm not sure. I think Power Herald is a really good option. I would not go Celestial, but Celestial can also work very well in Fractals. But typically in Fractals, you don't want to run a condition build. Yeah, there are some exceptions in Fractal CMs, but in Fractals, you typically want to have power damage only. The reason for that is the Fractal fights typically don't last that long, that conditions can ramp up. And that means the conditions that you apply will tick too slow to make you deal enough damage to outclass a power DPS. So typically you want to go for power. Yeah. That's my take on that. So I would recommend you to go for Power Herald. That can provide quickness. That's a really good tip. You could stay with Power Soul Beast. I think this is not that hard of a build and it has amazing burst if you know what you're doing. Especially if you know the phases of the boss fight. You know, for example, at 50% it goes invulnerable, then you can prepare your really big attacks to go just after you hit the respawn of the phase, so that they are just alive again. So yeah, I think there are a lot of options there. What other easy builds are there? I think Support Chronomancer is really good and also not that hard. You just spam all your skills and you will have all the boons for your team and all the healing. But of course, if you don't like Mesmer, if you don't like to play support, that's fine. Then it's not the build for you. But if you want to play support build, Support Chronomancer is extremely strong. And very easy, in my opinion. And it carries the group because you have so much healing and so much boon access. And you can also pick between going for alacrity or quickness. So that would always be a very strong pick in my opinion. Especially if you want to carry your group with the heals and stuff. Even if they fail mechanics, if you have a good healer, sometimes you can salvage the situation. So yeah, that's probably the class I would pick right now if I wanted to carry a group. Even though, of course, if they don't deal any damage, then you can't carry them because you don't deal any damage either. But I mean, at some point you have a group and you can't do everything. Yeah, that's just my take. Yeah. Yeah, so I was talking about the balance patch. So yeah, of course. I mean, that's why I always say try to stick with a class. Like, for example, if you already have your power soul beast set up, then I would maybe stick to it and try to get the right build for it. Try to get the right rotation going. If you enjoy it, that's probably the better option than just going for another class and another class until you hit tier 4 fractals, because as soon as you hit tier 4 fractals, and that's a really hot take or something, then you can go for another class, because you will then have the option to get more ascended gear way more easily, because the ascended gear drops from the boxes from the tier 4 thing are way more likely to give you ascended stuff, yeah, than in the tier 3 things. So that's just my take. So I would stay, if you can, with one class until you have reached tier 4 and you can get ascended gear easier. That's my take. Yeah. Yeah, I think Celestial Mech, like Katja points out in chat, I think is a really good pick. I think it's extremely strong. It has so many. It's really easy to play, and it's extremely solid from the DPS side as well. And I think it's really good in open world for soloing content. And I think it might work in fractals just fine if you are not going for a speedrun, which you are obviously not if you're at tier 3 fractals yet. Yeah, of course. So let's put it like this. Of course, if you are going for a high level fractal run, yeah, with CMs and stuff, with challenge modes, and then people don't like to have celestial fractal DPS players. Of course, that makes sense. But if you're in tier 3 and you just want to get higher fractal level, then I would say go for the build that works for you. And if the meta build is not working for you because your group is not surviving that long, then Celestial is a very decent pick. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely then if you want to try a support class and you also, so just to have the option to go for 2 different builds, this is definitely the way to go. I would say having a power build like this Power Soul Beast is the one build, and the second build that I would go for would then be probably support Chronomancer. So I think this is a really good combination. Yeah. Because with that you can fill every single role. Just baseline. This is really, really good. So if you struggle, you can also just use my open world Soul Beast build, for example, in Fractals. And you will, even if your group dies, you can even solo bosses there. But this is not a joke, you can do that. Because those open world builds are so strong, you can easily solo really hardcore fights just by yourself if your build is carrying you. So yeah, maybe give it a try if you want to really go for some kind of not meta build in Fractals, but if your group is just dying, sometimes you have to go for different builds to make it work. That's just how it goes, in my opinion. So the thing is, typically Berserker builds are more squishy, so they have less defensive baked into the kit. So for Fractals, typically if you know what you're doing, if you have a really high level group, everyone knows what the mechanics are and stuff, then Berserker is the best option. But if you can't trust your supports, if you can't trust your other teammates to do all the mechanics, sometimes you just get a lot of damage and you might die on a Berserker build. And it's, in my opinion, better to have a build that is optimized for getting damage, for surviving the damage and healing back with Celestial gear, because if you die, you don't deal any damage. If you survive, you will deal damage instead of being dead. So in my opinion, it's always better to be alive and deal damage than being dead and having potentially more damage than being than with the other builds. So I would say if you feel like your groups in tier 3 are just always dying or you don't have a good supporter or anything, then I would go with Celestial. Yeah. But if you feel like your groups are not struggling too much and you can deal more damage with Berserker and you just need to find more groups to get it done, then Berserker might be the better option. So I can't give you a clear answer to that because I have to be honest, it has been over 10 years since I have been playing tier 3 fractals. Yeah? So I can't remember which type of gear and groups I had in that kind of time. So it's just, I like to be really practical in that sense. If I can't complete a content with a certain gear set just because it's meta, I would swap to something that is more useful and gets the thing done. Yeah, I think it's really funny if you, like Heavenfire points out, if you have played a build and you understand how it works, for example, with stability uptime and that kind of stuff, and then you don't have a support or the support doesn't do that correctly, and you're playing DPS, you notice how annoying this is if your support is failing something. So this is really interesting, and I think a lot of people should experience this just to understand how important the correct team setup is. Yeah. So Katya has the question here, how big difference on damage there is on Berserker and Marauder? I think you're still talking about the World versus World hammer build. And the interesting thing is, thing here is, in World versus World, that's a really, yeah, I don't know, it might not be the most straightforward thing. Might not be the most straightforward thing, but in World versus World, you actually deal more damage with Marauder. The reason for that is Marauder gives you precision, yeah, as a main stat, whereas Berserker gear doesn't do that. So if I check Berserker, gives you power, precision, ferocity, and power as a main stat. If I select Marauder, it gives you power, precision, ferocity, and vitality, whereas power and precision are shared main stats. So you get more precision. So in World vs. World, Marauder is not only the optimal choice when it comes to vitality and boosting your survivability, but it's also the most optimal choice when it comes to damage, because you will get a higher crit rate, and this crit rate will affect your DPS more than having a higher power baseline. I hope you understand this, and I explained it well enough. And the funny thing is, if you play in PvE and you play solo with other support, oftentimes having Marauder gear might still be the best option. Yeah, not always. A lot of classes have traits that give them crit chance and stuff. If that's the case, then Marauder is not the optimal choice. But if you don't have permanent fury, if you don't have a permanent crit chance buff in your traits and stuff, then Marauder in PvE might still be the best option. If you want, you can also nowadays use Demolisher stats. They are exactly the same as Marauder, just with toughness instead of vitality. So if you feel like you're getting one-shot by attacks, sometimes toughness can be a solution as well, because that increases the amount of damage you take. So it also increases your effective HP and is more valuable when it comes to healing. But that's another discussion. So I hope you got that question. Yes, so in general in Guild Wars 2, all gear sets have the same amount of stats when it comes to how many they have. So if you calculate how much gear I get from Apothecary's gear and from Assassin's gear and from Berserker's gear, they all give me the same amount of stats. However, when it comes to a 4-piece set like Marauder or Commander, they give you more in total. So if we compare, this gives me 168, if I calculate it correctly. Yeah, 168 of gear points, so to say. This one doesn't give me that. This one gives me a little bit less. It gives me 108, 153, I think. Yeah. So it gives me 15 gear points less. Yeah. They are spread more in the 4-piece set, but in total they give you more gear points. Yeah. And you can even bring that to an even higher level with Celestial. Celestial gives you in total even more gear set points. Yeah. Not in World vs. World, but in PvE. In World vs. World, you don't get the expertise and concentration, but in the other game modes, or PvE for that matter, you get even more stats. So if you can make a build around a stat that gives you more gear stats, in total that will give you more valuable attributes. But oftentimes, for example, if you are full raiding build, full squad composition, the best damage option is still Berserker, because there is no other attribute that gives you more damage than just going for raw those 3 attributes. But if you are just, for example, having a build like Marauder, that makes even more sense in World vs. World. So I hope that answered the question. Thanks Rasputin for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Yeah, sure. I'm always happy if I can help you there to understand it. Okay, so Fractal CMs. I think Fractal CMs are really important that it doesn't matter which type of player you are. So if you are support, if you're DPS, it's very important to understand every single mechanic in the fight. Yeah. Because a lot of mechanics deal damage to you. Yeah. And if you just tank the damage all the time, it not only strains your support to heal you, and sometimes it's not enough, but it will also just distract you from dealing damage, because you might have to survive and go out of AoE or something. But, and that's the important part, if you understand how the mechanics work and how you can easily avoid them, yeah, then you get less damage. And that also, and that's really important, relies heavily on support players, because support players, for example, let's say the challenge mode of Cosmic Observatory. Yeah. So the challenge mode where you have this balls floating around all the time, where you have, for example, the clones, Artisavari, this boss, the second boss in this fractal. It spawns a lot of orbs, a lot of red AoEs on the ground, and if you have a support player that can reflect, all of that damage is negated. Yeah. So if the support knows what they are doing, you get less damage as a DPS player. And this is really important that you understand the mechanics, because if your support doesn't reflect, you have to stand in a different position to avoid all the AoEs, maybe dodge at the correct time, and then focus on your mechanics. So typically, I would say there are 2 really big tips that I can give you in that scenario. The first one is to understand what the mechanics are. So maybe watch a guide on YouTube. I have some guides on the challenge modes. See how good players do the challenge modes and understand how the positioning is happening. And even the DPS players, when they have to dodge, when they just position themselves correctly and don't get any damage, even if the support is not just careful. And the second part is just having a good group helps often to just avoid damage, because if your support is good, they can deny damage. If your DPS is really good, and that's really funny as well, if you have a really good DPS players, they can deny a lot of damage just by bursting bosses before they can deal any damage to you back, before they get to a mechanic that deals damage. So oftentimes this is really, really important. Yeah. So I can't give you an advice that just says do this and it will never get damage. So it's more like you have to train how to understand it. Either do it yourself and just play more, understand your build, when you have the burst phases, when you have to be careful and not get hit, or just understand the mechanics of the fight better, either by playing yourself or by watching people that are really good and understand what they are doing. So for example, watching Twitch streamers that are really good and doing all the Fractal Challenge modes, maybe watching my guides on the Fractal Challenge modes, or maybe I can do some Fractal CM runs, not today, but maybe another day. I can do that on stream and I can explain what I'm doing, and maybe that helps. So I can do that for sure. And I think that that everyone should do that. If you want to learn something, you should always watch people that are really experienced at it and then try it yourself. I think those 2 points are really, really helpful. Yeah. I hope that's somewhat of an answer to your question. I'm sorry if I can't give you a really, I don't know, a point where I say this helps a lot. Yeah, it's not like I can tell you you have to dodge this attack. It's just too specific. Yeah. Would you say in Berserker Warrior is less difficult as a Soul Beast? That's a difficult decision. When it comes to surviving, I think the Berserker is better. Definitely. It has more baseline defenses baked into the kit. Because, for example, I can show you. Is it? It has a healing skill. It has more baseline defensive just from the armor. It's a heavy armor class. It has more defenses. So you survive longer. However, so for example, you have this healing skill. It's in a meta build. You would use this. It gives you healing conversion. So if you deal damage, 30% of the damage you deal will be converted into healing. This is extremely strong. Soul Beast doesn't have that. So you have just baseline a less defensive kit. When it comes to dealing damage and going for the correct rotation and stuff, I think they are similar. Yeah, they are. It's not like one of them is very easy and you get way more damage. I think both of them is quite similar. I just think for fractals, it's definitely better to go for Soul Beast because they have more damage, more burst damage potential, which is in fractals very valuable. And for open world, I would say a Berserker is probably the better option. There is a really strong condition build, like I'm currently having equipped. There's also a really good power build. Both of them are really, really nice. And they have more overall usefulness. I think they have a lot of defensive, a lot of sustain. I would say they are better than the Soul Beast build in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about the balance patch because we had a few questions on that already. So I think the balance patch in general, yeah. In general, the balance patch is decent. I would say I would even go so far and would say the latest balance patch is probably the best balance patch they did in the last year. It doesn't mean it's a really good one because I have to be honest, the last ones were really bad. But those were really bad and this is quite decent. So there is a big gap between them. Why do I think they are decent? So I think the intentions of this balance patch are, yeah, I would say purity of purpose related. So in World vs. World, they have the idea of decreasing the tankiness. And they do that for every single class. So they decrease the boon application they do. They decrease the amount of alacrity, or there's no alacrity sharing going on anymore in World vs. World. I think this is a good thing. That means that people die faster in a Zerg. Because if you noticed in World vs. World Zerg gameplay, so if you're 50 versus 50, oftentimes the fight go on forever almost and you stand in each other because there's so much healing, so many supports going on. This is really annoying. I think it's important that fights end at some point. That being said, when it comes to PvE, I think they tuned down a lot of high-level DPS builds like Virtuoso, like Catalyst, just because they had a lot of DPS, and I think this is a good thing because the damage was getting out of hand. A lot of stuff was going it was really, how can I say, if you always power creep the DPS classes, it gets to a certain point that old content, it gets way too easy. And I think that's not good in a game that is like Guild Wars, where you only have horizontal progression, where you normally wouldn't have any vertical progression. Yeah. And this is just, in my opinion, important that they keep it in check, that the power creep, like DPS builds, for example, stick somewhat to the same number of DPS. So I'm happy that they do that. I'm not sure if every single nerf they did is the correct one, but I think it's definitely, the intentions are good in that sense. Let me quickly answer the question here. Tempest gets always so many changes. It's hard to keep track. Yeah, I think the thing is, Katja, the thing is, yes, it's hard to keep track of the changes they do. For example, Tempest gets, or Elemental has got a lot of trait changes recently. That's true. That might be really annoying for people that want to learn a build and then learned it and then they get another change. So I think that's true. But at the same time, for veterans like me, it's always very interesting if they change underused stuff. For example, the old diamond skin trait was really underused. No one used that in no game mode. And now it's a really useful trait. Yeah. So I get why you would say, oh, that's annoying. But I think as soon as you get to a certain point in the game with experience level, I think you would enjoy having changes like that typically. Yeah. It's not everyone has that, but I think it's very typical that people like that. That being said, I think it's really important that they don't do big changes to PvE. I think PvE is really annoying to get high-end gear if you don't have legendary gear. And if you, for example, playing let's say a Berserker Warrior, yeah, Power Berserker, yeah, say DPS Spellbreaker or something, and the optimal gear would be Berserker. Then they change some traits and you can't run Berserker anymore. You have to use Assassin. Yeah, that would be really annoying because everyone that doesn't have Ascended or Legendary gear, would have to swap that around. So in my opinion, it's really important that they keep PvE changes to numbers so that a Power Berserker just gets tuned down in the DPS it does and not in the trait changes and the gear changes a lot. When it comes to PvP and World vs. World, it's the opposite. I think it's not that important that you tune down the numbers all the time. I think changing stuff, like completely reworking stuff that is overperforming, is way more fun because then people will be more interested in playing something else. That's just my take. I have a whole video where I rant about this topic for 30 minutes, but this is just what I would say in a nutshell. What is your favorite build for open world? It's hard to say. Probably it would be currently, if I really want to go for really hardcore content, this is really hard, so legendary bounties or something, I would go for open world Celestial Herald. It's so tanky, it has so much wounds, it has a lot of condi damage as well. I think this is for me the best option. I have different builds that I play, but I think this is probably my favorite build when it comes to really hard content. But I like all the classes, so it's really hard for me to pick one class. Yeah, but I agree, Katja. I think Elementalist this patch, or the last patches actually, got a lot of changes just because it has a lot of weapon skills and they're not completely happy with where it is in the meta. So it gets a lot of changes. I totally agree, and I get why you could be frustrated by this. I definitely agree. But I would say better having a balance patch that changes stuff for the better than having no balance patch in 3 years and you have the same old, maybe not good builds. Yeah, I get that. Especially without the relics, sometimes it's really annoying. But the good thing is relics are not that frequently changed. So I don't know. Sometimes you use the same 5 relics over and over. So if you have the same relics all the time, then you don't need the legendary relic. So that's my take. So for map completion and story, I would say you should probably... There's a really good... I would go for power build when it comes to open world easy content, and I would probably go for something like Reaper, maybe something like Virtuoso, Power Virtuoso, that kind of stuff. Maybe Power Chrono even. Those are really good builds, just very fun builds to play in my opinion, and very strong. I think open world Power Reaper, I released a video today about it, it's really, really good. Is it safe to use Snowcross builds for fractals? Yes, for sure. Most of them work perfectly fine in fractals. You could make some optimization just because in fractals you get those potions here, where you get more stats. And you get more agony benefits. But in the end, to be honest, this is not that necessary. So if you are just someone that wants to have the correct build, Snowcross builds for fractals, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. What do you think would be the easiest legendary back piece to go for? I want to start steadily going towards one without burning myself out too. So there are 3 legend back pieces currently, and each for each game mode. There will be a 4th one coming with the next update. It will be an open world one. So currently you can't get it from open world. So if you enjoy PvP, the easiest one is playing PvP. If you enjoy World vs. World, the easiest one is World vs. World. And if you enjoy Fractals, the easiest one is Fractals. This is a really boring answer, but you should go for the game mode that you enjoy the most. If you want to go for the one that is the fastest, I think the fastest one might be the PvP one, but I'm not 100% sure. It depends a little bit how much time you put in, I think. All of them have some kind of time gate in them, so you can't get them day one if you grind 24 hours. That's just not how it works. But the World vs. World one was probably the one that takes the longest, I would say. Yeah. So, sorry if you are not satisfied with this answer, Rasputin, but I think going for the game mode that you enjoy the most will in the end help you to not burn out and get it probably faster than going for something that might be a little bit more optimal, but is not that fun to you. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. A lot of people nowadays in my stream say, they came from WoW, they came from Final Fantasy, and currently they really enjoy Guild Wars 2. I'm really happy to have new people join in. So please let me always know when you have something that you want to know, but always let me also know about your stories. I think it's really interesting because I'm, as a content creator, also want to grow. I want to maybe branch out to another game, and maybe I can get some tips from you in the future as well. So I'm always, I like stories. I like to get influence from you. Maybe get some input when it comes to getting new, I don't know, maybe just new input when it comes to, is this game good? Maybe I would like it as well. Because getting people that enjoy the same game as I currently, Guild Wars 2, and getting opinion on a different game, say, oh, I like this, but I quit because of that. Maybe I have exactly the same opinion and then I don't have to try it because I actually get, I would say exactly the same thing. So this is really important to me. Yeah. Yeah, but that's just my take, of course. So, but always don't be shy. If anyone in the chat, always also in the comments, if you're on YouTube, let me know what your questions are. There is no stupid question if you want to get anything answered, not only about Guild Wars 2, maybe about my content as well. Have some feedback, you want to see something, want me to improve on something, please let me know. I'm always happy to hear that. It's really important to me. And of course, I can also emphasize and stress that enough. You can also join our guild, you can join our Discord if you need any more help. It's not that I'm always online, but if I am, I like to answer. But if you need more help when I'm not online, in the Discord, in the guild chat, we will get answers to you. So just saying that. It's really important to me. But I was just talking about balance patch, so let's summarize that. I talked about PvE, I talked about World vs. World. Let's quickly talk about PvP now. So PvP, I would say, got away quite, how would I say, not very surprised about the changes to PvP, with one exception. So, like I expected, they nerfed Willbender. However, they nerfed Willbender in a way that I was not that surprised, or that I was quite surprised about. So they nerfed the spear damage, that's it. I think this was not the right way. I think there was, because now you can also go with Greatsword after the patch, and you will have the same amount of mobility and almost the same damage. So I think Willbender will still be very good. And they nerfed a lot of dagger builds on Elementalist to Catalyst and Tempest, which I find is okay, but is not needed in my opinion, but that's just their take on the situation. Guess that's what they do. I'm a little bit sad that they did not buff Holosmith enough in my opinion, and they also did not buff Weaver. They did not change Weaver at all in any game mode, and that's my biggest disappointment. So I think this is the biggest criticism I have with the patches. They did not change Weaver, because Weaver is the worst build in every single game mode when it comes to elite specs. I think there's no elite spec overall that is worse than Weaver. And I'm really sad that they did not change that at all. So, the best benchmark after this patch will probably be a Willbender build. I'm pretty sure it will be a condition Willbender. Condition Willbender currently is really, really good for dealing damage. If you just want long fights, a lot of damage, Condition Willbender is the best option, I think, after the patch. It will probably be the best performing damage build. For power build, it's a little bit hard. We have to test first how much the changes change the DPS rotations and that kind of stuff. So we don't know yet, but I think Elementalist will still be really decent. I would say Spear Catalyst will still probably perform really well, even after the nerfs. Yeah. My Reaper, definitely you could go for Berserker as well. Berserker is definitely a really good choice as well. You will be less tanky, you will have less wounds, but in the end you will almost get the same stuff done. It's just the most optimal choice for surviving is definitely my mix that I put out in the video. We have a question here from YouTube. Do you need to do map completion again if you want to play on a new character? If you want to have the full map completed on a character, yeah, if you want to get every single map in core game and stuff completed, yes, you have to play every single thing again. There's nothing that goes over to the character. However, there is no need to do so. I have so many characters on my, and not a lot of them have actually completed the world map, and I still play them. So if you don't need the map completion for, I don't know what do you need it for, gathering, for going for dungeons, I don't know what you need the map completion for, or going for legendaries, then there is no need. You can, every single thing that you want to do with a character, you can do at level 80 without having to complete the map. But you have to do it again if you want to do it on a new character. So it's not saving it. And then when I was talking about PvP changes, very important for me is that Mirage will probably be the best roamer. Power Mirage is extremely strong right now with Spear. It didn't get nerfed at all. It even got buffed. They buffed it by 10% damage, which is insane. That means it will definitely have even more damage. It will probably be the best roamer. There will be no one else that can play that well when it comes to roaming. I think Power Herald will come back. I think I'm really happy about that. And I think Power Herald is a really fun build. A lot of people like it. Condi Herald, not that many people like it, so that is fine that it get nerfed. So that makes sense. And lastly, I think support Tempest would be probably the best after the nerfs to support Chrono. And what is the last thing that I really like as well? I think Hammer Catalyst is the best side-noting build after the patch. I think that is fine. And Untamed will be back, Spectre will be back. I think it's really interesting how they changed the meta. I think this patch is a big patch for PvP. So I'm happy with the PvP changes. I'm happy with the World vs. World changes to the most part. And PvE, I'm not that happy most of the time, except for just the general damage notch down. I think that's good, but how they did it, I'm not completely happy about it. So that's my summary. Yeah, I mean, getting 100% map completion means getting every single core map, because then you get the Gift of Mastery. You don't need to complete every single Heart of Thorns maps, or even go for the maps that I don't even have here, like the Living World seasons or Icebrood Saga ones, or even the ones that I did not even unlock here in Shanxia Wilds with this character. So if you want to go for every single map on a character, that takes a while. There are a lot of maps nowadays in Guild Wars 2. So typically I would say you do that for the main character that you play if you want to, and that's it. I think going for every single map in the game on every character that you have to have fun doing the exploration then. I think it's not necessary at all. There's nothing that really helps you there. Even if you go like I did for all the legendary armors and stuff and legendary weapons that need all the map completions, nowadays you can do that with the achievements. So there are those in End of Dragons, the achievements that gives you illuminating, how is it called? Illuminating Amenitas, for example, in Soto. You just go and press F and you get the map completion, so to say, reward for just pressing F. You can do that on a character that already completed the map, and then you don't need to complete it on another character so every time. It's really, really interesting. You don't need to go for every single character that you have and complete every single map in the game. It's only if you enjoy it, otherwise it's not needed. Yeah, I mean, Agent Scorpio, I'm happy to help. I think that's the cool thing about Guild Wars, especially World vs. World after the alliance changes and stuff. There are always people. It's really not that often that you log in and there's no one around. I think oftentimes I just check out the maps and there's a commander, I join the Discord channel, whatever, and I listen to them and we get some nice fights going. I think that's really cool. I'm really happy about it. So glad I could make you try it and hope you have a lot of fun with that. Yeah, I think it's really cool, the world map. I mean, the game is quite old now. Guild Wars 2 came out 2012, so it's now 13 years old almost. It's a big game. It has a lot of maps, and with the, how's it called? POF here expansions, Heart of Swans expansion. You have all the Living Worlds. Yeah, Living Worlds Season 2, Living Worlds Season 3, Iceblood Saga, Living Worlds Season 4. All of those gave you more stuff. Then Soto gave you more maps. Then, of course, EOD gave you a whole another continent here with more maps. Big maps also. And of course, the Crystal Desert POF has really big maps as well. So there are so many things to explore. But you don't need to complete that for most part. It's just for the interested people. Yeah, sure. I mean, Katja, always happy to help, and I'm really happy when you have a revelation moment just because of what I tell you. I think it's really nice to help people, and I think this with the stats and stuff, I think not a lot of people know about that, and especially if you start out in World vs. World or want to have a tankier build in PvE. Sometimes you say, oh, I have to run the best in slot build for raiding because that's running Berserker and I have to run it as well. That's not the best option often, because going blindly for a build that you don't understand why you use the gear stats, or you semi-understand why you use the gear stats, is not always the best option. So that's also why I talk in my build guides always very extensively about, okay, this build uses Berserker gear because of this reason. And then I talk about every single trait just a little bit to make you understand why we take this trait. I think it's really important that people that want to learn a build do not only copy and paste it, but also quickly get an explanation how this build works and why we do take these traits, these gear stats, these sigils, because then you get a better understanding how the build plays and a better understanding of the game, and maybe in the future you can come up with a build on your own. I think this is really important take. Could you recommend a lazy farm that would net me some nice gold that I can do and repeat? Thanks for the applause. For the question, thanks a lot. Really deserved that one. So the best farming method that you can do 24/7, really 24/7, without much of an effort, maybe relax with it, is, to be honest, fishing. I made a guide about it recently on YouTube, and I did it, and I think it's crazy. You just chill and do some fishing. Just relax. I can show it to you. It's really relaxing. You just drive around with your skimmer and your skiff and just put in some baits all sometime, and you just maybe watch something on YouTube, on Netflix, on your second monitor if you have one. Listen to a podcast, listen to my stream in the background, just like Filthy Casual does. This is very relaxing. If you had a stressful day, just chill and you get a lot of gold. If you know what you're doing, you actually get some decent amount of gold. And I'm talking about, if you know what you're doing and optimize it, I'm talking about 50 gold per hour, which is crazy. Yeah. So this is really laid back, really lazy farm, and you can do it 24/7. Of course, like Carmine points out, if you want to invest a little bit more of your brain power into the game, if you want to have something that is a little bit more daily kept, yeah, not 24/7 doable, so you can't do it 6 hours on a day, would be fractals. Fractals are really good. It's one of the best goals per hour that you could get, but it's only daily, so you can only do it once a day. Tier 4 fractals are probably the best together with challenge modes. And lastly, of course, Wizard's Vault. If you don't have completed already, always go for the Wizard's Vault. The Wizard's Vault is really, really rewarding, especially if you enjoy doing the stuff that is in there. For example, I really like to play PvP, so I set my preference here only to PvP. So the thing is, I have to play 1 PvP match a day and I get all the rewards almost instantly. And if I play that every single day, I most of the time also get the weekly achievement just from playing every single thing a day. And then you get so much Ask to Acclaim that you can get all the rewards, and by, I don't know, after half the time you have everything that you want bought out of that, and then you go for the infinite gold. So Astral Acclaim, Wizard's Vault, really, really rewarding. So very good tips there by Carmine. But of course, that's daily capped, so you can't do that 24/7 in that sense. Yeah, I think that's really cool that you have some options where to fish. Sometimes it's better to go for this on the night. Sometimes it's better if you want to level your character. You can even fish in a different zone. So like Physication points out, it's really cool if you want to level characters, it helps. But if you are level 80 character and you just want to get the most gold out of it, there are some nice options in my video how to do that. And the cool thing is fishing is really chill. And you can do it 24/7. I think not a lot of farms in Guild Wars 2 are really like that, where you can say, okay, I focus on a gold method that I want to do and it's really relaxed and I can do it now 3 hours straight. Yeah, because oftentimes, like doing fractals, like doing raids, like doing strike missions, you can do them once a day. Yeah, and it takes you an hour. And if you want to play now 3 hours, you have to do something else because the farm is not that good anymore. Yeah, or not doable at all anymore. So that means fishing is one of the very rare things where you can do that really consistently, repeatedly. So I think this is a really unique selling feature why fishing is, I would say, a really decent thing to do. Yeah. But of course you have to enjoy it. If you don't like a farming method, it's not good. I think it's really important that you do a farm that is not only rewarding, but you also enjoy. Because if you do a farming method that gives you a lot of gold, like let's say consistently 40 gold per hour, yeah, but you really, really find it really painful, tormenting even, yeah, you don't like it, then in the end you might do it, let's say 2 hours a week. That nets you 80 gold per week, yeah. But if you find a farming method that only gives you 20 gold an hour, but you enjoy it way more and you do it 10 hours a week, you will end up with 200 gold instead of the 80. Of course, you spent more time, but you had more fun while doing it. So in the long run, going for the slower method that might have more fun to you, is more enjoyable to you, is always the better option. Thanks for the follow, Mike. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Yes, that's a very good point. If you have the EOD expansion, you have your Jade bot, you can equip on your characters not only the Jade bot core that increases your vitality if you have the Jade bot core tier 10, so that increases my vitality by over 2000. That makes it really good. I always used it on my characters that are in PvE. This only works in PvE though, so in World vs. World this doesn't work, so don't even try. Yeah. And then you can, of course, use the Scavenger protocol. So this is not the highest one, but you can also go for exotic ones on characters that you use more often. And they will drop magic trophies sometimes and some nice other stuff. So I have on every single character that I use in World vs. World and PvE, I have this and I just collect them, open them. You get even more loot for just playing the game mode that you already have. It costs a little bit, so it has some just first incentive, so it costs a little bit, let's say 10 gold, maybe 12 gold. But if you do that consistently on your character that you play a lot, you will have that in not a lot of time, you will get more than that gold out of it. Because you will just get randomly every now and then a drop from your enemy to get this, and it will give you, for example, like this, a ladder section. So if you get more of this, you will in the end up with more money than you spend, and it's just a better way to get even more efficient. Yeah. I mean, it's okay to play from world boss to world boss, but world bosses are not that good anymore. They're not giving that much gold anymore. Yeah, I mean, you see, Filthy Casual made even 1k gold from that. I mean, yeah, fishing can be really profitable. I mean, my first 1k gold I did back in the old days with dungeons, yeah? That was now over 10 years ago, when there was no expansion and everyone was just doing dungeons and repeating COF part 1. most of you probably don't know what that means, but that's just what it was. So yeah. So we have a question here from DJ Anton on YouTube. What's your opinion to the known Guild Wars 2 content creators leaving for the World of Warcraft only thing? So my opinion on that is, I'm sad that people leave Guild Wars 2 because I think that will have an impact not only on the near future but also in the long-term future, because I think content creators are really important to keep the game alive. Yeah. So if all the content creators on Twitch, on YouTube from Guild Wars leave, the game will die because the marketing of ArenaNet is horrible. Yeah. So if you cut out all the people that are marketing the game for ArenaNet by being a content creator, that's a bad thing. So I'm always sad if people leave. However, I can of course understand if you don't enjoy the game anymore. It's really not good if you play the game for just creating content, because people will feel that. It feels just forced, and I totally understand that. So in my opinion, I get that. But I think it's really sad if all the really high-level content creators, yeah, like you were implying there, are leaving. This will have an impact on the game for sure. For sure. But I have to agree with Katja there. I think it's only a temporary project, and I hope content creators will come back to Guild Wars, especially when there will be new challenges, new content released in Guild Wars, for sure. I'm not sure. I think when Guild Wars 2, like say Heart of Thorns and that kind of stuff, I think a lot of the content creators you were mentioning here in chat, I think they were more interested there. I think when Heart of Thorns was probably the high time when it comes to players' interest in Guild Wars 2. And over the years, Guild Wars 2 just for hardcore players, and oftentimes that's the sad part, people that create content about games are often people that are somewhat interested in the game in a long term and are not casual, you know. So if you get money from creating content, you can't just say I play the game for 1 hour a week, yeah, because then you will not create enough content. So you have to invest more time in the game. And at that point, you get more invested in the game and you will play more time. Yeah? And that means that you will run out of content faster. So that means at some point you will come and make the decision, okay, is there enough content for me in the game to play it longer? Or have I just ended the game for me? Am I finished? Am I done? And at that point, some people decide to go for a different game. I think that's a fair point, but it's sad for the people that enjoy watching them. And also sad for the whole community, because we'll lose a big creator there. And I hope they will come back. And I think it's very likely that the next patch and stuff will bring them back. But probably only temporary, not in the long run. So yeah, I try my best to become a rather acknowledged content creator in Guild Wars, to make people enjoy my content. And I, of course, try to also help people and that kind of stuff. But getting so big is a big problem. It's not easy. It's a long thing. Yeah, I mean, Carmen Falcon, I think that's an interesting take, because let me show you. I have more legendaries than this mentioned content creator by a long shot. So it's not like I couldn't quit the game when it comes to that. Yeah, Guild Wars 2 is a sandbox game. Yeah. So you always have to set yourself more goals, yeah? And I had so many goals after another one, so that in the end, I always had something to stick in the game. But if you don't have a goal anymore, if you don't have something that you enjoy in the game to go for, yeah, then a challenge that you want to just get done, then yeah, I totally get why you would quit and get another game, yeah? So yeah, I don't know. I think it's important that you, as a viewer, accept that when people leave, that's their take, it's their opinion. But of course, I really hope that the big content creators will come back to Guild Wars, because that means that Guild Wars will grow again and people see it, because the game, I think, is not dead. It's a very live game. It's really fun. You have a lot of stuff to get through, especially as a new player. There's so much stuff that you can get done. It's really fun. I think I can highly recommend to just invest more time, set yourself a goal. It's really good. So yeah, I think it's really important that you, for example, I play other games as well off stream, of course. and try to just see how they work out, how I can learn something from them, how I can criticize the game for what it is. For example, if I enjoy a completely different aspect of a different game, how I would implement it in Guild Wars, can give some nice feedback there. I think it's really important that you get some look in different games. But I think it's sad to see if someone completely quits a game. I think that's sad. Yeah. I mean, Agent Scorpio, I think that's what 95% of the player base does. Farming gold to convert gems, to gems, and then getting the skins from the gem store. I think that's what most people do. Yeah, exactly. I think it's really, really important to play games to have fun. And for me, in Guild Wars 2, I always had phases that I'm really invested in the game, and then I had phases where I was not that invested in the game, and I quit for a few months just because I did not have a goal. I'm really goal-oriented. I like to have something that I have to work towards, and then I also enjoy the game, it's perfect. Yeah. So enjoying Guild Wars 2 while having a goal is perfect for me, and currently I like to have content creation going on about Guild Wars 2, so that's my goal. So I enjoy playing my favorite game and creating content for it, but that might change in the future. So I'm always someone that is in the, so to say, camp of my opinion, that I play the game that you enjoy, that you have the most fun, and as soon as you think it's not the most fun activity that you could do in your spare time, quit. I think it's really important that you always do the most fun activity that you could do in your spare time. It's after all your spare time. So why should you force yourself to do something that you don't find fun anymore? So it's really, really important. I would never say, I have to get this goal. I don't enjoy the game anymore, but I want to get this legendary. And if I don't get it, I'm feeling really bad. So I will work towards it, even though I'm feeling tortured by playing this game. This is a stupid thing. As soon as you don't have fun doing stuff anymore, quit. And that doesn't even mean just quitting the game forever, but also just for a little bit. Maybe in a few weeks we will come back and say, oh, I'm so released now, I can do something that I enjoyed way more. Yeah, I think that's really important. Really, really important. Yeah, I think that's really important that you have something like that in the thing. And I think playing games for just playing the games is totally fine, like Filthy Cashew mentioned. I think this is definitely fine. Everyone has a different take on how to play a game. However, for me personally, I think just playing a game often leads to me not knowing what to do, what to go after. So I often enjoy having a game that I enjoy playing while still having some kind of goal to go towards, to work towards. Yeah? So for example, in the long run, I want to get all single legendary skins that are in the game. Currently I have, I don't know, maybe 85% of them. I want to get all of them. Is it somewhat useful for me? Not at all, because most of the skins I actually dislike a lot. For example, when I look at HMS Divinity and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But that's a goal I want to work towards. Yeah. And I really have fun working towards something. But if you are someone that just wants to log in, looks around, checks what the community currently is doing, maybe someone in the guild asks for some help, you jump in, that's totally fine. I get that. But for me, I really like to have a goal, work towards something, having some progression element. I really like that. I mean, I have so many bolts, I'm not sure. I don't even have more space for more bolts. I have 2 bolts already. I can't go for more than 2. So, sad. I can't go for that. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I think I think a lot of MMO players have OCDs like this, Katja, to see, oh my god, I don't have a legendary piece of equipment here or a standard piece. I have to go for that. It's not fun to me to play this game if I have not a perfect gear. I get that. I have the same feeling, but it should not let you control how much fun you have. So if you don't have fun by grinding for this achievement to get the legendary code or whatever, then, in my opinion, you should stop, because having fun is way more important than going for something that your OCD tells you to do. It's really very important. And I think community, like Agent and Filthy Cash will point out, having a community, having friends, having someone to talk with is always helping a lot. And that makes games way more enjoyable, especially MMOs or other games where you have some kind of interaction with other people. Because that makes it so that even content that you did 100 times might be still worth doing after 200 times because you have some nice people to talk to while you do it. So that's why I really enjoyed having a static, because it was really fun. I did raids for years, even though I did not use anything of the raids that I got there. But in the end, it was just very fun having people to talk to, having fun with them in the evening. Yeah. Really nice, definitely. Yeah, I think also different goals. Some people want to have more gold. Some people want to go for legendaries because they see it on other people. But some people, just like me, for example, I want to get better at the game. I want to learn more builds. I want to understand how they work. I want to perform really good. I want to increase my rating in PvP, for example, playing different builds in PvP and getting better at them. This kind of stuff is, for me, really important. Yeah, I think this is really nice. It's a really good motivation. I made a video about it as well. And a lot of people in the comments agreed to this statement, that having this mindset of I want to get better at something is one of the best things to push you and to have fun at something. Because that's always, especially in a skillful game like Guild Wars 2, very helpful to keep you going, because there's almost no skill ceiling there, because you can always play a little bit better. Yeah, there's always a way to improve. I really liked it. Yeah, so that's just my take on the thing. Yeah, I think that's what Katja is mentioning here, that's a big reason why Guild Wars 2 is different than other MMOs. Yeah, that you don't have the typical gear grind. So when Final Fantasy get a new expansion, they increase the level cap, but they also increase the best in slot gear item level that you can get. And that is not the case in Guild Wars. So in Guild Wars, as soon as you reach level 80 and you get ascended gear for a character, this character has the gear forever, and that's probably not going to change. Yeah. So there is no big grind. You can get ascended gear really easily, especially nowadays with the Wizard's World. You can get ascended armor chests here, weapon chests. After 2 rotation, you have your full character just equipped with ascended weapons and armor. If you only go for one character, this is enough. This is insane. Yeah, it's so easy nowadays to get this. Yeah, also farming winter berries and stuff, getting ascended trinkets, it's really easy nowadays. And if you then want to go one step further, you can go for legendary. But there's no vertical progression when it comes to legendary stats. So I think this is a really big selling point for Guild Wars, but at the same point, it's a big point why people quit, because they reach the full level 80 ascended gear and they say, what can I grind now? There's nothing to grind for me because nothing helps me getting more stats. So this is a big problem for Guild Wars at the same time as being a big benefit. And that's why Guild Wars is so unique. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. What would you say is the best profession for AoE damage and high sustain in open world? It's probably either Catalyst or Reaper. Those are probably the best options for AoE damage and high sustain. Probably, yeah, one of those. They are really, really good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Guild Wars 2 oftentimes, not only when it comes to gear, a lot of times with the combat, if you play a fast-paced class like a Willbender, but if you also enjoy going for different builds, going for legendaries and stuff and tying different characters with different builds, it spoils you a lot. When you play other games like other MMOs, it's really hard sometimes to change the builds, to have to do all the grind again, to have maybe a different experience. That's not often the case, that you have such a nice alt-friendly environment. I really like that, and I think that's why it's also good to have balance changes, because that encourages people to try different alts without having too much of an hassle to go through. Yeah, if you change big balance patches like in a game and like WoW, I think it's way more annoying to go for a different class, at least in my opinion. Yeah. And I think that's the cool thing. If a lot of people like you in the chat say, oh, Guild Wars 2 spoils me because it's so nice to play, I think if you spread that to your friends and say, maybe you should try Guild Wars 2 if you just played Destiny, if you just played other games and you want to try something new, then they will maybe join and we have more players playing the game, because I think that's the biggest problem that Guild Wars has, that the player base is not big enough. Yeah, it is a really good game, but in the end, it has too little amount of people playing it for what it is actually currently. Yeah, I don't know. I think Guild Wars 2 doesn't punish you for playing a different character in that sense, because oftentimes if you level a character to level 80 and then you play another one, then you don't get punished at all. You just get more insight in how to play the game. When you commit a lot of resources in a different MMO, sometimes you spend hundreds of hours to level this character and then you try a different one, then you have to do it again. So that punishes you. In Guild Wars, that's not the case. You can easily swap your gear even. For example, if you're playing a ranger and a thief and you want to swap to engineer, it's really easy. You can use all of your ascended gear on your engineer as well. That's really cool. It's so friendly, definitely. Sure, I can also, if you want, Agent Scorpio, I can also add you to the guild if you want. Yeah. Yeah, I think Guild Wars 2 is just underrated when it comes to how friendly and how people would like it. Then oftentimes that's definitely a sad part, but I can understand why people that are enjoying Final Fantasy and enjoying the game, like WoW or something, oftentimes those people really enjoy the grind. They really enjoy to have something to work towards, having always the gear grind, the best in slot gear to go for. They would be not having fun in the game of Guild Wars 2 because it's really easy to get the best in slot gear. So I get that, why they would not play Guild Wars. But I think still a lot of people that play those games would have even more fun if they would try out Guild Wars 2, because Guild Wars 2 is not inherently so much different. Yeah, because the combat is, I would say, better than in Final Fantasy now. That's just my take. And yeah, I don't know. I think I'm spoiled to go for a different MMO and that kind of stuff, because I probably would have less fun when it comes to the combat. I might have in the end more fun with the community and that kind of stuff. I don't know. But the combat itself, I think in Guild Wars 2 is the biggest selling point. Yeah. So we have a question from YouTube. Is it true having a level 55 character just for opening packs is no longer necessary for maximum profit? So I still have this character. I have a character 51 or something like that. So you can still use that, but it's true nowadays it is not that profitable anymore. So I would say just open the stuff at level 80 nowadays. Yeah, that's the short summary. Yeah, I think it's not worth it to do anymore. I have to be honest, Psych, I don't know why you would not merge NA and EU. I think there is a server issue with the ping. I think you can't really easily swap around with the ping and that kind of stuff, because some people would have a very higher latency and that kind of stuff. But I'm not completely sure if that's the only reason. And I think the player base in Guild Wars 2 is not that low that it's needed. At least not when it comes to every single game out except PvP. I think PvP is the only reason that is not that could work. Thanks, Thunder, for the follow. Really appreciate it. And I think when it comes to World vs. World PvE, that's completely fine. There's a lot of people playing. I think Guild Wars 2 is very much alive. I think the only thing that can really tell you that the game is not as alive as it could be is when you tell other people and they try the game and they say, holy shit, it's way better than I thought. Because the marketing is so bad. There's so many people that would play the game but don't know about it, or think it's just a meme at this point. So that's the sad part. Yeah. Yeah, I think, for example, Katja is a good example. She says they came here by accident. Yeah, and that's insane. So they came to this crazy good game that was online for over 12 years, and by accident. So what? Why did it not spread via content creators, via marketing? It's crazy. And now it's the most fun game they say they played in a while. So that's crazy. That's so crazy. Yeah. Why is it not marketed like that? Why do they not put more effort into it? Yeah. So that's why one reason why I became a content creator because I love Guild Wars 2 and I want to promote it more. And I think getting new players' attention, making guides for them, helps in that sense. But of course, it's way less marketing than ArenaNet could have done. So that's a big thing, sure. Yeah, thanks for all the comments. I'm really happy if you write so much. So thanks for all the big amount of text you put in there. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I don't want to be a doomer. I think talking about the death of Guild Wars 2 is very exaggerated. So I would not say this is happening anytime soon. I think even if they do not announce Guild Wars 3 in the near future, I think Guild Wars 2 will still last 2-3 years for sure. I don't know how it will go with the next expansions. I just hope they will put more effort into the game, or at least tell us more what is going to happen. Yeah. So Agent Scorpio, they have an ArenaNet partner program where you can get affiliate links, for example, for people that play the game. And this is definitely a thing. I applied for it. They did not respond yet, so I hope I will get in there at some point. It take quite a while to get back to you, so that would be cool. I don't really do it for the affiliate link. Of course, that would be cool, but I would do it for the PvP thing, because then there are tournaments in PvP that are daily, weekly, monthly, and only a content creator that is in the ArenaNet partner program can join those matches and watch them. So I can spectate them and can cast them. That would be amazing. I would really love to do that. And that would help me a lot to just share how good PvP, for example, is. But currently I'm not in there. And Carmine, you're completely right. Guild Wars 2 is probably running way longer than I just thought. But I think Guild Wars 1 is in maintenance mode ever since Guild Wars 2 was announced as being developed. So it's not like it's really a live game in that sense. It's just people can still play it. And that will happen for Guild Wars 2 probably in 10 years you can still play Guild Wars 2. But it will probably not get more updates. So that's definitely my take on that. I mentioned that in my recent rumors video and stuff about Guild Wars 3, that it will definitely have some nice Unreal 5 engines stuff in Guild Wars 3 and not the old Guild Wars 1 engine like Guild Wars 2 does. So that would be a big thing that helps the game. Better engine, just having better graphics, and of course having an easier pipeline for the developers to push out more content, because I think this is the biggest issue they currently have to keep making more content, is to not being able to progress fast enough with the code because it's so much spaghetti code. Yeah, so that's definitely, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. They could remaster Guild Wars 2. I think this could also happen. But at that point, I would say if they would really release Guild Wars 2 with a different engine, I would say I would be even happier if they did it, just because I invested so much time in Guild Wars 2. But at the same time, if they really would re-release it as a new, well, that's the same game with a different engine, is it not a different game at the same point? So just giving you the same progress, I think both options would be fine to me. I think having more game to play and a better engine and stuff, more future-proof concepts and stuff would help me a lot. I think we talked about it on stream before. I think one of the features that I would like to have either in Guild Wars 2, coping, that will not happen, but in Guild Wars 3 would be procedural generated content, like dungeons that you could do solo and that would scale up to 5 players or something like that. And they have always new layouts and you could farm them 24/7. I would love that. That would be amazing for PvE content, for having more people interested in the game, because it's just, you can play it solo, you can play it with friends, and you would always have something to farm. It would be amazing in my opinion. Just using AI to create more content for you. Amazing. I'm not sure if that will happen, if they can do that, if that will happen in Guild Wars 3, we don't know if it will ever come out, but I think that would be so good. I think that would be really fun for all the amount of PvE players out there. I think there would be no one that would say, oh, I don't like this. I think that would be always really cool, especially if you have some kind of challenge adjustment so that you could increase the difficulty level that you have, and you get more rewards for going more difficult or having special titles and stuff. That would be really cool, special rewards. Really would like that. I would be really happy if they would do that. I mean, if there would be more chickle physics, I think it would also help. I think Guild Wars 2 lacks that a bit in that department, but I don't care that much, but I think it would sell very good. I think if you look at some mobile gacha games, they only sell because of that. I think that's the only thing that they really did in the development. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that would help, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think there are a lot of options when it comes to Guild Wars 2, Guild Wars 3, what they could do. But I have to be honest, if they don't announce it this year, it will take even longer than we expected, if it will ever come out. So in my opinion, I don't see that much happening and that much changes in the next year or 2 years. So I think Guild Wars will not have any big updates that change drastically how the game is played and how we can just have fun. I think we have to accept that the game is what it currently is and it will not get changed that much. I think Guild Wars 3 that might be in development or might not, we don't know. This will be the big change. When this will come out, we get some more changes, but not until then. I think it's very unlikely that we get big changes like procedurally generated content. I think this will not happen. Yeah, I think developing an MMO, takes years. So it's not very likely that they will say, okay, we will release Guild Wars 3 next year. This is not going to happen. They will probably announce it, if they will announce it at all, they will announce it before they have it fully completed, but at the same time, they will probably also have already developed quite a huge amount of the game, because MMO development in particular, but all games in general, to develop a really, really high amount of effort. So I really doubt it they will really have that done in the next years. I think 5 years is an optimistic thing, to be honest. I don't know. What other games have I really enjoyed most? I have to be honest, I am really one of the most selling features for me for a game is if it has some nice diversity. Yeah. So if I can play different builds, if I can build craft, if I have different content to do, but having a nice routine, having a nice goal to go for, while still enjoying the general gameplay. So for me, it's really important to have the routine. So if I do in Guild Wars 2 every single day one PvP match to get more rewards from the Wizard World, I really like that if I enjoy the PvP game. If I wouldn't enjoy the PvP gameplay, I would not enjoy the game, because I don't like to go for routine stuff that is bad. Yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's why I really enjoy roguelikes, because they have build crafting in them. For example, I don't know if you know that, Potato, those kind of games, I really like that, because there, if I enjoy the gameplay, if I enjoy the combat, it's really, really fun to play them. Yeah, because the build crafting process is cool and you have a really fun routine. It doesn't have to be an MMO. I really like Warframe. This is really cool. There's some nice build crafting going on in there. And to some extent, I also enjoy Final Fantasy, but I'm not too deep in there, so I can't give you a big feedback. I just tried it out for a few hours. That's it. I'm not sure. I think there are many options. I think I enjoy a lot of games. It always depends on how much effort I want to put in, how long I will stick around. But most of the time I will come back to Guild Wars at some point, just because it's a really, really good game. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think Guild Wars 2 player base is just very casual. No one really engages with YouTube a lot, or with just the general, how's it called, general content creation on Twitch and stuff. I think if more people would engage in that with memes, with just watch more Twitch streamers, making it more lucrative for us content creators to do this kind of content, then it would blow up way more. Yeah. Nice. I mean, it would be really fun if you're also becoming YouTubers just because of my inspiration of my content and stuff. I think that would be really cool. I would really love that if I could inspire people to do something that is really fun. I heard a lot of people that watched, for example, build guides of me, maybe some gameplay in my streams and stuff, and noticed how fun that special build or something is, and they tried it out and they got into that. I think that's really cool. I really like to inspire people. So, would help a lot. Yeah. Yeah, and no, a lot of the roguelites, I think there are a lot of them. I think, though it's really hard to make a YouTube channel about Guild Wars and still make some content with roguelikes. I think that's really hard to fit together. I'm not sure if people would like both, if people would watch that, or if I have to come up with a different channel for that. I don't know. Would be really fun if you did some memes and stuff. That would be a really cool thing to do for more Guild Wars memes or more just general gaming memes. I would really love that. I think memes are one of the funniest things you could get in, just in general in the internet, but also in gaming, of course. So I would really love some content meme generation. I mean, if you would go for that, I would be really interested. I would also, of course, promote it. I'm not that big, but I could promote some kind of stat. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that much into old school games. I'm just playing whatever currently is interesting. Like I said, I really enjoyed Potato, for example. It's a really good game. I don't know. I think there are a lot of build crafting games that I really enjoy. Most of them are actually roguelikes, just because this is a really good genre when it comes to having a very good amount of build crafting, because you always reset your runs. Hades, of course, is really good. I really enjoyed this game. So there are many different games, but I think making content creation for Guild Wars 2 put me in a niche that is a little bit different. I can't make content creation for roguelites. Yeah, maybe I do a roguelike stream. I don't know. Would be really fun. Would you be interested in that? I mean, what's your opinion on that? If you are interested in it, sure, I can go for that. Yeah. I think it's always important to not only have a idea for something to go for, like making content for this game, making content for that game. I think it's always also you have to think about the future. So I can't make one potato video and that's it. I think I want to make more future-proof stuff, make maybe reviews or something. That would be interesting. Welcome, Banya. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, maybe we should do that. You have to let me know which roguelikes you would enjoy then the most, which I should try and play. There are so many out there that are really worth promoting, and just making content for them would be really cool. I would really enjoy that. Hades is one of the best, I have to be honest. Hades is extremely... It's just so well-rounded. It's I think the best roguelike when it comes to story generation. It's really good. I have Hades 2. I have to be honest. I did not play it. Maybe I might try some Hades 2. I did not play Monster Hunter yet, but Monster Hunter is more like an RPG, isn't it? It's like you get more gear, you try to kill more monsters, you hunt them. It makes sense, yeah. That kind of stuff. I'm not sure if I would be completely on board with that, because RPGs are oftentimes very single-player focused. It's not like you have a much of theory build crafting going on. I'm not sure. Maybe Monster Hunter is a little bit different, but oftentimes I think RPGs are a little bit more, you enjoy the game for the content, the story that you play through, and then you are done at some point. I would rather have something that is producing content by the build crafting theory, just the longevity of the content by itself, by its nature. So for example, Guild Wars 2 PvP has endless content for me, because I can always get better at it, try new builds and get better at them. So this is what I enjoy. In RPGs, oftentimes you just play through a story and that's it. So I'm typically not that much on board with RPGs. That's just my opinion on that. Yeah. Yeah, have a good night then, Banyash. Welcome back, and yeah, thanks for joining the stream today. Yeah, so that's my take on it. I don't know, maybe I would play some different build crafting. Yeah, I think also it's not only about PvP. Of course, you can also think about spot composition, or going for the most optimized solo dungeon boss or fractals or going for strike missions solos, or maybe, I don't know, there are so many options. I think this is really fun, and I think not a lot of builds, just a lot of games have that option. Not all of them I enjoy, but most of them I enjoy, so I would definitely try different games out when it comes to this. I don't know. Because of the Dead Gods, yeah, I heard about that. I think this is really cool. Yeah, maybe I have to split up a little bit more and do some different content in the future as well. Depends, of course, how Guild Wars is developing. Yeah, that's always an important thing. If Guild Wars is developing really well and we get more content here, then I might stick to it. But if Guild Wars is just left alone and no one really cares about it anymore, then yeah, that might be changing in the future. Then I might go and play different games, maybe even different genres like roguelikes and stuff. Sure, yeah. Yeah, that's just my take, yeah. Yeah, maybe I have to do some more experimenting there. But currently, I have to be honest, I put a lot of Guild Wars 2 content out. I hope you enjoy my content still on Twitch, on YouTube. And it's posting, or I put a lot of effort in that. It's a lot of time investment that I put in. But if I notice that the viewership or the just investment that I put in is not there anymore, I would probably go and try different stuff out as well, for sure. Yeah, they did just, with this patch, they increased it by, I think, 2 weeks. So it's very likely that they also pushed the next big content update back 2 weeks. So I think it was around, maybe it was even pushed 3 weeks back. I think it was maybe even pushed 3 weeks back. I'm not completely sure, but I think it was something with 20 days or something. Maybe 30 days. I'm not completely sure, but it was at the end of February 25th. And now it's later, so they pushed it at least 2 weeks back. So this is definitely, let's say, a clue that they will definitely put the content out later. I'm not sure, it's not 100%, but it's very likely. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm not that. I know I'm not that experienced yet, and I have a lot of stuff to learn and go through my content creation journey. But I'm always wanting to improve, and that also means with improving for content creation, going for different directions, trying different stuff, and maybe sticking to some new experimental stuff, and that helped me in the future. I think there are a lot of options there. Yeah, I mean, I put a lot of content out, Heaven Fire. I think that's the thing. My content is decent. I would say there's a lot of room to improve. But the reason why I have 2.2k or 2.3k subs almost in only 6 months is not because my content is that amount of crazy good. I think it's decent. I think there's a lot of content that could be better. I could improve on a lot of things. But I think it's just the consistency, and I think there's a need for that. I think there are not a lot of content creators in Guild Wars 2 that are actually putting out content like this. So I think there's a big need when it comes to this department in Guild Wars 2. But as I said, I put a lot of effort into that, and I hope I can keep it up like that. But you have to be I have to be honest. This is like my second job. I put in almost more hours than my normal job. Yeah, I think actually I do. Yeah, I put, I think, 50, maybe 60 hours a week into this creating content. And let me tell you, getting money is really hard with this. I do it because I enjoy it, but I would in the future, of course, love to make this at least full-time or somewhat close to being a full-time job, because putting 60 hours into something that doesn't give you enough money to live from it is quite exhausting on the long run, because then I have to put out a second amount of, I don't know, income. So I think it's really, really hard. Yeah, so there is a lot of stuff that I still have to get organized and get going, and I hope to grow even further with my channel. So yeah, so thanks a lot for all your support. I think that's the most important thing. I'm really happy about all your support and that you value my effort. So thanks a lot for that. yeah, I think it's important if more people know about my content and they see how much effort I put in, and yeah, just like getting noticed, then this is the way to go, and I think I will get more attention on my channel for sure. So I don't have a problem with that for sure. Yeah, I mean, you never know how much time I put into a video and that kind of stuff, or putting into research and just everything. So yes, this is always more effort than it might seem like, but I also have fun. So it's my hobby at the moment. I try to make it my living in the future. I will be really blunt about that, but it will take time to make that work. So I think that the short that I just put out yesterday was a really fun one. It was a clip from Steam, and people and me on stream laughed a lot when that happened. So I thought, come on, share it on the my YouTube channel just as a short. It was a really nice one. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I don't have that many contacts when it comes to this. Maybe I should just do more networking. I think that might be a valid way to do so. So in real life, I'm actually a researcher. Might be a weird thing, but I'm in research. So I'm a scientific person. Might explain why I always try to min-max stuff and that kind of stuff. Yeah, so. But I have to be honest, currently I have more fun doing my second life in Guild Wars and my just my normal gameplay loop and getting more content out for you. It's more fun than having my normal job. It's actually biomedical research. Yeah, so it's quite close to nanotechnology when it comes to that. Yeah, I think it's very close to IT. I would have made the decision previously when I studied, but I swapped to this kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if you would have expected that from my bio or my what I do, but I think it makes sense to be interested in content creation for games and putting a lot of effort in that stuff. I think that's very typical for someone that is in that field. No, I do not. Don't say that. There are already rumors out there that I sold my kidneys and that kind of stuff. That is not true. Please don't believe that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think there are dreams, and sometimes you have to make them come true. So I hope that I can make that happen at some point. But I put a lot of effort in it. It's my hobby right now. I enjoy it. And that's the most important thing. And if you enjoy watching my stuff, even better. Then give me feedback how I can improve and that kind of stuff. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's I think to have the time to play games, oftentimes it's really enjoyable. If you don't have the time to do this, I think it's really sad. So I always value that really highly in my life. If I could find enough time to do that. So. No, that did not happen. Did not happen. No, nothing true there in the chat. Everything was farmed with in-game gold. I did not spend a single kidney on my gem project. Yeah, and then I invested all my gems into 2000 Blackline keys, opened them, and it was definitely worth it. The not spent kidney on that. It's casual, so I mean, don't be toxic or anything, or racist, sexist, and that kind of stuff. But it's not that kind of. It's not. I would say for people that are under, I don't know, 16 or something, typically. Okay, what do we have here now? Oh, it's again this one. Sure. I mean, that's the way that I want to go. Thanks for the help. Selling my kidney and doing this interesting career path as a adult, how is it called? Adult entertainment. I think that's definitely where I would go. I see myself doing that. Yeah, sure. I think I will probably rather stick to gaming related content. That's more like what I enjoy. Interesting. Thanks for the tips. Thanks. Selling feed pics. Yeah. I mean, there will probably be some weird people in the internet that enjoy that. Definitely. But I did not do that yet, so I'm not experienced in that. Maybe you know more. Nah, it's fine. We're just joking. I think it's interesting. There are a lot of possible options for sure. But I'm happy to have some conversation going. I think that's always good to have a community that wants to engage with you. And you're all really great. Thanks for showing up to my stream. I really like that. Yeah, I mean, I could do that, but I think the problem is I don't want to really be so aggressive with the advertisements. So I think going into maps and say, oh, join my Twitch chat, join my meta trains and that kind of stuff, I think that's okay. But I think it's better to have people joining because they like the content of you and not really joining just for a short-term event or something. I think it's really important that you have just your content speaks for itself. I'm a strong believer that that is really important. So I don't want to advertise, for example, my product with stuff that is not really true. I want to really get people because they enjoy what I do. Yeah. So I get why you could do that, but I don't want to spam people enjoying a game with my advertisement chat. I think that's not something I would really do. I think that's my take on it. I get it, why you could do that, but it's not my idea. Yeah, I think it feels very, I don't know, it feels just very greedy to advertise in-game. I think people that are interested in content from other people on YouTube, on Twitch, they will search for it, look for it on YouTube, on that kind of stuff. I think that would be enough if people find me that way. And my channel is growing. Don't get me wrong. I think that's going in the right direction for sure. But yeah. Slow and steady wins the race, isn't it? So, yeah. Yeah, I think meta trains are not that often organized. I get that. I think that's fine. Maybe you should do it. I mean, if you're interested, I think the thing is, you could see that. I don't want to mention the name, but there's a really big content creator in Guild Wars 2 that just left the game for a little bit, you know. Temporary, I hope only. This guy was carrying the back of Guild Wars 2, yeah. And I think it's really important that you have more people than one, more than one person that is really committed to the game. You have to have more content creators because otherwise, the biggest content creator leaves in Guild Wars and we have a big problem, yeah. So I think it's really important that you have multiple people doing that, multiple content creation scenes interested. More people going on. I think that's really important. So that's my take. So welcome Dash, but sadly I will now stop streaming. It's quite late already. So I have to say goodnight for today. We will see each other tomorrow. Yeah, Sorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow is the raid training. I will want to announce that. So everyone that signed up, please be there. Everyone that didn't sign up but is still interested, please be sure to check out the stream. We will do some nice training, some more content going on. And if you just want to hear my voice, of course, come by. I really like that as well. And thanks a lot. It was a really fun evening. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks for all the follows. Be sure to check my YouTube channel if you hadn't already. And yeah, see you around. Thanks a lot for watching.